welcome to our glorious Ashes of Creation November development update. We hope that everyone has been having a wonderful month. It has been a long one for us, even though it's like short. So, because of the holidays, it just makes everything so cram packed for us. So, we're like
I
trying to make
know.
sure we get everything done. Same with December. So, it's like those two sprints for
That's
us.
some fine
We
looking
call it
dude
maybe
over
some
there.
sprints and milestones to do our calculations of what we're going to be doing and
A little
milestones.
hectic.
Is it low? All
It gets
right.
a little hectic, yeah, because everyone's just trying to power through. But everyone is amazing and doing rocking and rolling and kicking major butt. But of
Yeah, it's
course,
Is it
always
better
oh,
now?
go ahead.
it's always interesting. The end of the year, we have these two back-to-back streams in November and December, and then our longest
Is it okay now,
stream until the
Jake?
end of January. So
That's true because January is so long. That's true.
yes,
But of course, I'm
Still a
Margaret
bit
Crone.
low.
I'm the director of communications here at Intrepid Studios, and with me, as
How about
always, is
now?
Stephen Sharif, our creative director. And we have a whole slew of things for you. We have some quick reminders. We're going to try to go through this pretty quick. Artisanship preview, which I
Okay.
think a lot of you crafters
Gonna
out
keep it
there
at
are
that. Let me know
probably
if
really
it's too
excited
low.
about this. We've had a lot
Still.
of questions, and of course, to preface, this is going to be more of our core functioning stuff, so
Margaret
not super in
Crone.
depth um, in regards to like manual crafting, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. And of course, if you have questions, feel free to pop those in to the Twitch channel,
Pop
Discord,
your
and
questions in
of
the
course
channel. I
we
will
have a
ask
watch
them
party on Discord right
directly.
now. So there's a lot of places for you to interact
yes.
with us. Our community team is full throttle, so of course we are always pulling those in after those segments as well. And then we'll have like a quick little studio update, art update, and then do our Q&A as well, like our forum Q&A that we always pull from. But before we do that, we do have our spotlight. Whoops, wrong one.
Uh
There we
oh.
go. Our spotlight
Technical
comment.
difficulties.
So if you on our development updates, leave a comment, subscribe to us. You may be selected. Make sure that you have it so that we can see that you're subscribed to us, and then you will maybe get your comment selected. It's random. So today's comment is from Pa Beats, and they would like to know. It's less of a question, more of a statement. Caravans are my number one most loved feature when it comes to MMOs. This is
Kind of a
it.
role
I
player is
will
he?
pre-order the game uh, first time in like 15 years. P.S. Would love to see the other side of that feature. Specifically, how a party of robbers attacks a caravan and how they
I
can
just remember the
flee and
caravans in
sell it
BDO,
to
and
a
that was
fence or
kind of
something
a
of that sort.
lag fest.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
I
it's not
figured
that
we could talk a little
in
bit about that.
Ashes of Creation.
Sure.
It's less of a
Yeah,
question, more of
absolutely.
a statement. And if you
Yeah,
guys
no,
didn't
I
know, we showed off caravans. So if you're curious about those,
Let
definitely
Steve
like
check
talk.
that out.
Woman?
there's a lot of people in the studio that share that excitement for caravans as a system. It is the epitome of risk versus reward, obviously, and knowing that that is a core pillar of a lot of the systems design in Ashes. Caravans represent that very well.
Mm-hmm.
It took a lot of work to kind of get caravans to a place that felt good, both from a drivability perspective, but also from a customization perspective as it relates to crafting unique components and creating these vehicles that live in stalls that are located at different
How about
nodes
lagging?
and kind of their summoning mechanic and, leveraging them for the transit of these cargo and materials that are so vital to the economy. All of that in a fantasy world, you might see that in games like an Eve or something that's a little bit more sci-fi with transport, but it's not often seen in fantasy style games. And so I think that's super cool. Obviously, when we talk about the PvP element of them and that risk, I am happy to announce that in January we will be showcasing this. Is, I guess, a little bit of a leak of things to come, but
Uh oh.
we will be showcasing a large PvP battle
Oh,
around caravans, and you guys will get to see a little bit of the caravan raft take place as well. We should be in a good spot for that come
I just
January.
hope it doesn't turn into a lag
So
fest.
that's going to be really exciting, I think, for people to see. I know that we've had the last few streams have been kind of focused around mechanics within Ashes that aren't combat or PvP related. That's a good thing
Leaking with
because what makes
excitement
the world
indeed.
go round in Vera is obviously those types of systems. and it makes the events where player conflict does occur that much more exciting because of how much it took to kind of set the stage for a high risk reward type encounter. And that's what caravans are all about. So January is going to be a really fun thing to see, I believe, and you guys are going to be
There's definitely a
happily
lot of questions
surprised.
regarding the PvP element of just our game in general. And of course, when we showcased the caravan system, there were a lot of follow-up questions in regards to how PvP would play into that. And of course, we had already planned to share that, but the caravan system alone is such an in-depth system, and the PvP on top of that is. So we just split this
It's
up.
not.
Hopefully, you all understand that. And of course, we didn't want to put too much pressure on those teams right back to back. So, kind of giving a little love here and there. But of course, I think I misspoke last month. I meant to say that in the December, like at the end of the year, we are going to share the quarter. I believe that's what we had said earlier on as well when we announced the 2024 Alpha 2 timeline as well. And I think I misspoke and said next live stream when I meant
When is the
to say,
release
like at the end of the
date?
year. So we will be announcing what quarter Alpha 2 will be next live stream in December's live stream, to make it very clear. Apologies for the
not too
confusion.
far away.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. We're only a few weeks away from that, actually.
Yeah, that's
like we
true.
said.
We're not that far away.
Yes.
But I
Yeah,
just
we got a
wanted to
lot
be
of
clear.
testing that's been going on over the course of this month, and obviously December is going to be a big month when it comes to testing as well. I made a little bit of commentary about that in the Discord. Things are heating up for sure, but I do want to temper expectations. I want to remind everybody that this is alpha testing, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
so because of that, you can look historically at how far the game has come year after year, the improvements that get made.
Oh, I'm coming.
And what we're about to show you right now, which is a little over an hour long showcase regarding all things artisanship, right? I made a post in Discord yesterday that just went over kind of all the types of updates that we're going to see, and I want to reiterate them here before we actually move to the video segment. And I know a lot of you guys take your hour break to kind of watch this, to watch our live stream.
Yep. I literally have to quit
I'm sorry. I
my
thought that was my cue.
work
No, go through the
just to
live
watch
stream, then
this.
I'll do that. Oh, okay,
No,
go.
it's
You're
okay.
good.
But,
Dedication.
I just wanted to kind of let people know that was a misspoke on my side. And of course, we do want to thank you all for helping us raise money for Extra Life. What an amazing campaign that we
Oh my
had as a
gosh.
team. You're wonderful. I mean, we can't thank you guys enough for what you've
Forgot
done
that
for
was
Rady
this
Children's.
month. I feel like that was a year ago already.
I know. But we did put an article up. It also has like the winners too, and all the winners have been reached out to and given their rewards. I think the last of rewards are the 3 thank you videos, which we're going to be recording right after this and sending out. So everyone should be getting all of their things or have information on when your things are going to be shipped to you. So I just wanted to reiterate that to folks.
Director of communication is communicating a bit too much.
A last parting comment regards to Extra Life. Those of you who didn't get to participate or didn't get to take a look, I think that as a community we need to celebrate our accomplishments, and
Agree.
it is a really cool thing that we as a community have come together over the course of the last several years to raise over $325,000 for Rady's Children's Hospital, and that is truly something that is unique about the Ashes community. I mean, we're not even in our game yet playing, right? And we have come together.
When are
as
we
a
going to do
community
that?
very strongly and are capable of doing these things that help others
Naked.
and
How are you?
demonstrate the quality of
Welcome, my
what it
friend.
means to be
Where have
an
you
Ashes
been?
of Creation community member. And that's something that I think
Are
is
you
very
excited
unique,
for
and it's
Ashes?
something that we should be proud
We're
of,
gonna make the
and
guild
that we should carry with us to the other gaming communities that we are a part of. And
yeah, we all want to
we're
know
all
the
an
date,
eclectic
but
bunch of gamers.
hopefully
We enjoy lots of different
2025.
games.
Hopefully,
The
fingers
cause
crossed.
that Extra
2025.
Life presents, I think, is a worthwhile one, and it
We're
is
gonna
something
take
that
over the
touches
Europe.
the hearts of people who are gamers.
Is there
just
gonna
like
be a
you and I, like
European
Margaret and
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 US
it's really
servers,
something that's
or it's gonna
noticeable
be just one world everybody
us
goes
to come
in?
together and perform like that. So kudos to you guys out in the
Because
community. That is truly
we are gonna
something
be the best
remarkable.
guild ever. We're
We
gonna
can't
be
wait
even
to see
greater
what
in Ashes of
even
Creation
crazier things we can do in the future
than we
as
were
get closer
in
to
Black
launch
Desert.
and then post-launch as well.
Clip
and how we
that.
can integrate Ashes of Creation into more of those type of things. So Thank you all. And of course, our community is just amazing as a whole. So we love how much you all interact with us on all of the platforms. So keep that up. And I know it's only going to get crazier when we start doing more guild stuff, because we are definitely going to expand to more of that as we get like in game and do that kind of stuff. Because guilds are very important. But of course, I just want to remind you that we do have some dev discussions up. We have our dev discussion for respawn times. So if you have not partaken in that, we are going to be wrapping up our reporting for that. So please feel free to pop in there, give us some of your thoughts. Of course, you can, even after our reporting, still continue to give us feedback. We always go back and double check things, but did want to do that. And of course, I wanted to give you a little teaser. Wagner shared that the next one will be on drop rarity. And so if you have feelings and thoughts on drop rarity, which I know most of y'all out there do, definitely give us your thoughts in regards to that, because we are going to be compiling a report for the dev team in regards to that. Also, I don't have an asset for this because it's more of a
Jesus, she's talking so much.
We always do something kind of cool and fun or silly during the holidays, but our next one is going to be a bonus dev discussion. It's going to be a special holiday delicious dev discussion. For those of you who have partaken in the past, we've made some really cool recipes and things like that, and especially tying in with the artisanship stuff for those who enjoy cooking and things of that sort.
Do you like GTA Naked?
You definitely want to head over to the forums next week and vote on which Varen holiday recipe you would like to see.
I've never been into Grand Theft. I mean, I played it a little bit, but
for the holiday season,
not that much, to be honest.
And then
I don't know. It's not kind of my game.
That would be super cool. What if some people did make them and we had a little
You're
bit
role
of
playing in there,
some
what?
alpha keys that we gave out for the best version of those recipes? I don't know. That could be interesting.
That'd be hard. We'd have to do a whole campaign
Oh, that's
for that.
true.
But
that's true. We could do community voting. I don't know.
ERP.
Figure something out. We might.
Margaret's like, Steven, no, quiet.
We might be able to do something like that. Definitely contests in the future, but I think we might be able to give some alpha keys away if people make some stuff and share with us.
Yeah,
as like bonus, cool. not contest oriented.
Yes,
we'll see.
That's right.
We'll talk. We'll discuss on that front. And of course, just reminder that the Unseen Order will be ending January 17th. I know that some people just want to make sure that they're being.
Can we get to the updates,
so
please?
Like
there we go.
Order pack. This is the last time we will be.
I don't know what order do I have actually. I bought the game for $100 in 2017. I think I upgraded it again, Jake. Right? We upgraded it, right?
Steven, I will hand
to
over to you to do
whatever that is, getting us closer to playing the game.
Thank you. All right, let's everybody breathe together on
Thank
stream.
God.
We
now comes the important part.
Hold and breathe out. Okay, so
let's go.
As a reminder, this stream is going to be focused on artisanship as a whole, and artisanship in the economy is obviously a very integral component of creating a world where progression matters, where decisions and choices matter. The world state that is constantly in flux and changing around you is very relevant as it relates to supply and demand within the economy.
Very nice.
That creates opportunity. It also creates, unfortunately, downsides and downturns. But that keeps a market interesting, right?
It also makes you remember things. The times when you're having struggle, when you win and overcome those, is like the things you remember the most. I mean, imagine your favorite guild moments are usually when you're like, we tried 10 times on the boss, but then we.
My favorite guild moment is over 9,000 kills.
Some of the
the biggest.
Of the more interesting moments that I've had in other games was where there were unique and scarce.
Jake, post the over 9,000 kills
right? And those
link on the chat for people that have forgotten who we are.
Interactions between the players.
The over 9,000.
that was interesting. But okay, so what we're going to see today is not just about artisanship. It is also going to be related to several changes that happen within the game over time. And so being that this is the end of the year or coming close to the end of the year, you're going to see a number of different updates to several different systems. You're going to see some updates on the UI front, a little bit more explanation and perhaps a clearer picture for you as it relates to spatial management and the inventory systems. That's obviously something that is unique to the gathering system.
Nice.
You're going to see significant updates to game lighting. When we showed the night and day cycle in the past, there was a resounding feedback from the community to see a bit darker exploration for the night times to kind of bring that field of view
With a
in
nice
a
moonlight
bit more. And so we've updated that.
would be great.
You're also going to see some significant changes from our tech art team with the skybox and our volumetric clouds. I think it's something that creates a bit more dramatic atmosphere within this video. You're going to see the first showcase of processing and how processing works from a station's perspective. These are going to be systems that allow players within the node who may not have a freehold
You
to
need to
still
have a moonlight.
participate in some levels of
Some dragons
processing.
flying in the air.
And that's an important distinction
Super
between
fantasy.
what's available on freeholds and what's available within nodes. You're going to see get a little bit of insight to
You're thinking about Dark
predicate
Souls
systems that relate to what you can access in the wild. You know, we made this change a while ago that everything is accessible, obviously, from a resource gathering perspective. However, we do gatekeep some of the access points to progression within the profession, and you're going to see the certification, a very low-level certification process that's quest-driven. You're not going to see that whole certification process,
not gonna lie.
but you are going to see how those resources are restricted. You're also going to see some tool making, kind of the initial tools that you'll get as a gatherer, which is going to be quest related to start, and then you'll have to be making those tools yourself. You're going to see a little bit of our recipe system and the recipe book, as well as the other crafting stations for those recipes. We're going to be specifically.
I really hope they nail the crafting.
And you're
I
not
love
see
crafting
all
if
of
it's a
the
good system.
accurate recipe
And
components
you
necessary
actually
to craft the weapon.
Craft
but you
stuff
are
people
going to see,
gonna need the entire
a
game,
version
right?
of that right now.
That's pretty important.
You're also going to see something that you haven't seen since Alpha 1. Which is our corruption zones. And the corruption zones are
sounds like New World.
Are something obviously that changes within the world state, and the world state is a very important aspect of what resources are available at what time. Corruption spreads as players do not respond to it appropriately. It can be the predicate for events. It can be the predicate for story arcs to kick off. And it does dynamically change the spawners within the world. Something that's unique, obviously, to Ashes of Creation is that world state change affecting the supply and demand of resources. And you're going to see a little bit of our adaptive resource, and from that, you're going to see a little bit of our adaptive resource gathering tech updates, where you see those resources change from night to day or from corrupt to not corrupt. And then there is going to be a little bit of a leak of a couple of ranger skills. I will give you another leak that next month we are going to be doing the ranger showcase again. There's 18 new abilities within the archetype kit that we're going to show off.
And we see Dreadnought.
I think that you guys will have a fun time with that. But we did have to dispatch a few wolves while we were out looking for resources during this live stream. So with that being said, I do want to leave off with the last disclaimer. As you all know what I'm about to say, this is still alpha. Yes, that's right. This is still alpha. This is still a work in progress. Things only get better from this point forward, but as is our responsibility, we want to show you how things are progressing, and we want to do so that you're able to provide us feedback on the directionality you see through these showcases, and can let us know how this relates to your experiences, how this is something you want to see, or what you would change differently. So keep in mind, as you're watching, what are the points of feedback that you want to give us? You can give them to us on YouTube, which will be released shortly after this live stream.
We have a forum thread that we'll have up. That's the best way because it makes it the easiest for us to compile.
It is the best way, forums, but I know not a lot of you are keyboard warriors on the forum. So if you want to be out on the Discord or on the social medias,
if you prefer to talk, and then of course any social platform. Like
I would rather talk with Steven in person.
Yes, absolutely. Let me think. Was that the last thing? Was that the last thing?
I think that's the last thing.
I think that was the last thing. We will see you guys in just over an hour. It's always like one of those things where you're
like packing when you leave for a trip and you're like, did I bring everything?
Why does she keep talking over Steven? That's a bit rude.
All right. We'll see you guys in just a little bit.
Yep. Steven is also big, you know? Alpha 2.
Hello, everyone. everyone, and welcome to yet another stream from Vera. And we
Move
have
the
a
mouse,
very
please.
exciting stream for you today. We are going to be going through the Artisanship system, and it has been a little while since we last talked about Artisanship and showcased the gathering, and we're going to do a little bit of that today. And we also, during our last stream with Freeholds, talked a little bit about processing, and we're going to be doing that today as well. And we're also going to be crafting something pretty interesting. And I have joining me 4 of our glorious team here at Intrepid. Some of them regulars. I think all of them actually regulars, have been on the stream before. We have 2 of our glorious designers, Mike and Corey. Mike, Corey, how you guys doing?
Doing
Good,
great.
how are you?
Glad to be here.
Doing very good. I'm excited to show off what you guys have been working on and how far it's come since people last saw it.
Yeah, same here. It's very exciting for us.
So very windy outside, I guess.
We
This-
also have joining us one of our glorious engineers, Alex. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing very good. You have been doing a lot of work on the engineering side of things, getting all these glorious designs up and running. It's going to be exciting
Looks
to take
great,
a look
though.
at that today as well.
Yeah, it's been a challenge. I have to fulfill all the wishes of my designers.
Are they doing a chicken dance over there or what?
Not bad, was it?
Or was it just
They're
me?
like, wait, all of our wishes?
Nice.
The one that passed visibility.
Yes. We also have joining us for, this is your second time now, Nathan. Our
Yeah,
glorious
the
producer,
double
Nathan.
feature.
I know, back to back.
I know. The Artisanship is the peanut butter to the jelly that is Node, so I'm super excited to show how these start interacting with each other.
Yes, it is totally 100%. And you guys have done a great job so far. I know you guys have been really pushing it this last sprint, and it has definitely shown through to me. So I'm excited to show the audience. All right, so why don't we talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing today? Corey,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah,
what do you
sounds
guys-
good. You had
Look at
brought
these
up
two.
that you had done a little lumberjacking,
these two
but
people
we're
doing?
kind of interested in getting into some mining and herbalism because you picked up a recipe.
Oh, they are dancing.
I think it's like you were saying it's a pretty nice sword or something.
Oh,
so
okay. Let me take a look at that.
Weird.
That's going to be in my inventory?
Yeah, it should be in your inventory. Yeah. So I was thinking we could go out and get some of the stuff that we would need to make that sword.
Okay.
Some of them are a little harder to come by, so I'm not sure whether or not we'll be able to get our hands
I
on
would
that.
say more like
If
an
not, I think we
Ireland
might
or
have some
something,
stuff
Jake.
for you, but
The landscape.
yeah.
But I really
guess,
hope they fix
we
the.
just need to kind of
big
get our stuff
backpacks.
together.
Like,
As
I
you
don't like the
mentioned,
way it looks.
Or as I mentioned, you already did some lumberjacking, but we'll
Yes.
probably need to get you herbalism
The
sickle.
backpack
and,
is for me kind of
maybe some.
I guess
extra
it's
bags so you have
alpha
some
still, but-
space.
That sounds like
So
a
yeah,
good
let's
a bit tuning.
let's make
I
our
guess
way
it's okay.
over to the agricultural supply. I think there's one of those built in Winstead
I
right
don't
now.
I
so
don't
we
like the
can head
green
down
on top.
there
It doesn't
and,
fit the feelings
So now
of a
talk to me a little
backpack.
bit
I don't
about,
know.
obviously we have this recipe.
I guess it's
When
alpha
players
placeholder.
are looking
Placeholder
to
for now.
create different items in the game, they're going to need to go out and either purchase or get drops of recipes or trade with other players. And when they acquire that recipe, like I have here, it says Nightblade. I can use the recipe and I will learn a weaponsmithing recipe for the Nightblade. So I have a recipe book that I get to keep, essentially. I learn these recipes once.
Yep, pretty much.
That's
there
great.
might be some unique cases where some recipes might have a charge count, so when you craft it 5 times, it might disappear. But generally, most of the cases, all the recipes should be permanently learned.
Okay, nice. That's very cool.
That's very cool.
And right-clicking this is going to consume it, I assume. But I do get a preview of the materials that we need. And Corey, this is what you were talking a little bit about. Going out and collecting some of these. There's a night opal moon bell. I assume that is some type of flower.
Yeah, so the night opal and the moon bells those are the ones that I was kind of alluding to. They're a little difficult to get our hands on. The night opals, you basically can't see them at all during the day, but as it gets closer to night, if they're in the world, they'll sort of push away their shell and start shining a bit, and then the moon bells only bloom at night. So we'll have to kind of maybe we'll
So-
work on some of the other things that you need for the recipe, and hopefully nighttime will come around and we can find some of those things.
Okay, very cool. So I'm going to right-click this recipe to learn it. Let's see here. Oh, very cool. Okay, it says learned new recipe, night blade. Okay.
Yeah.
Now where are we going to go to get this sickle you mentioned?
Oh yeah. So right over here.
Look at that big ass sword he's
Oh,
carrying
we
around.
got
That's
this
how
area
I want to
kind of
look.
Back alley of the town.
Yeah.
With a
so
nice
if you
skin
head
on
through
it.
here, this is
Oh,
the agricultural supply. This is one of the service buildings that you can build in the node. This one kind of focuses specifically on artisanship, and you'll find stuff for herbalism, farming, and animal husbandry here.
GM
so if you talk
Slurpee.
to
Look at that axe. That's a manly
Mr.
man
Willie
axe.
over here.
Willy
I mean
Um,
sword, not axe.
Yeah, so if you talk to him, he should give you some stuff that you can use to construct your first sickle. So,
Okay.
and then once you have those things, there's a little anvil here over here to your left, and you can craft the sickle there. And then I think once you have the sickle, you can talk to him, and it'll complete the quest and give you your first sickle. You'll be ready to go.
This guy is incredibly rude. We need to have a conversation with the narrative team about how these vendors speak to the citizens of this village. This is unbelievable. He said he just
well,
can't. He can't teach just any drifter.
He must
Am I
be
just any
Swedish,
drifter? Does he not
Jake.
see the crown on
Rude.
this helmet?
Root
I
Swedes.
guess not. Yeah, we'll have to add
I mean-
the mayoral narrative tags just so they can and up their respectful speech.
He's not even going to pay me too for achieving these many tasks he has for me.
He's paying you in experience.
That is
as
not enough.
Oh man, I've had those jobs before.
same.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good. Thank you.
Nice.
Oh
It
no.
was
Okay,
okay.
I have achieved this quest. It's called A Feast of Flowers.
Awesome.
All right.
So do
He
you?
wants me to show him my crude sickle.
Nice. You should do that. We'll turn away.
Right here.
Wait.
Whoa, whoa.
This
Show
is
me
gonna
your
be one of
sickle.
those streams. Okay. All right. So, what do I need to do with this?
Come over here, next to the anvil.
All right.
Behind you.
Yeah. So there's a little anvil right here. You can interact with that, and that should pull up the crafting menu. So as a gatherer, you'll be able to craft your own tools. They're going to take resources that come from all sorts of different professions. You won't be able to always
in
source
love
all
with
of
their
those things
menu.
just yourself. But luckily,
The
Willie's
UI
nice
for
and he
the
gave you some
both
components, and you can kind of just throw them
backpack
together
and
to
the
make
building things.
your first sickle here. So
Nice.
you can go through the craft. You should get that thing and show it to him, and he'll give you a little
Okay.
pat on the back
All
and
right. So
send you on
now
your way.
this is a great example as we kind of players as you're entering into Alpha 2 and you're wanting to get started into artisanship. These different professions will have a number of quests available to introduce players to their first tool sets, and then from there, tool set sustainability will be incumbent on the player to continue to gather the resources necessary to repeatedly create these tools because they have a durability that gets expended when interacting with the resources in the open world.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to talk to him again, and yes, I made the sickle. Okay, now he's criticizing my crude work.
Okay.
All right, but that's fine. He
We all know what your first mayoral decision is going to be is destroy agricultural supply.
yeah, this guy is going to
Defund the agricultural supply.
Yeah.
Oh no. All right, very cool. So I
Oh, yeah, and
now.
You can preview it in Artisanship page actually.
Yeah. Once
Yeah,
you.
I like
There
it.
you go. You should have your rewards now.
There
Jake.
we go. Equipped to artisan tool slot. Very cool. So now it is in my artisan
Awesome.
tool slot.
The
So I'm gonna
legendary
take a look here.
Pickaxe, the
Yeah.
legendary stuff needs to mean something,
Perfect.
right? I feel like
Okay.
if it's too
Oh, cool.
accessible,
So,
then it's not a legendary.
Yeah, so we have that panel open. This is kind of like the hub for all artisanship stuff. I think we poked around here a little bit in some of the previous streams.
In
but,
New World.
on the right-hand side there, you can see all the different slots for the tool types for each of our 5 gathering professions. So
Awesome.
it looks like you have one of each of the tools that we're looking to use today. can also
I'm
kind of
already
notice.
very progressed in my lumberjacking.
Oh yeah, you said you're like, what level are you?
I'm like level 9. I'm about to be level 10.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so like while we're out and about, if you hit level 10, you should be able to upgrade your certification to apprentice, and that's one of our certification breakpoints. And once you hit those breakpoints, it kind of opens up a whole new range
world, you
of
might
stuff
say?
that you can do, new tools. Yeah, exactly right. A new portion
I
of your
wonder
skill
if
tree. So we should for sure
mining is gonna
get
be
you
a
that
good
level
thing
10 and
in
see what happens.
this
Wait up,
game as
Steven.
well.
We need to prepare for a journey.
Oh, where are
Oh
we
yeah,
preparing?
yeah.
I like
So-
lumberjacking.
Get
Like
some
I would love to be a
potential bags.
lumberjack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we
As a
talked about this in the
dreadnought.
past with the Tetris inventory, kind of having different spatial layouts of our bags and also our resources. And so we've been working on that a little bit and trying to set up bags that have spaces that are optimal for the shapes that are going to be associated with the resources.
I'm not in love with the UI
having
thingy.
stats
That
on the bags that
I don't
will
know.
change
It must be the
the
green
stack
color of
size
that
and how much you can stack stuff up.
Right.
So
turns me off a little bit.
since we're going out, we're going to collect a bunch of stuff. You should grab one of the bountiful bags from Willie, and then we'll go over to the stoneworks and see if we can grab a
I
mining
also
bag
see
as well.
that Willie has a number of different farmer shirts and novice herbalism or herbalist skivvies. Do I want any gear from this?
Yeah, it's up to you. I mean, there's gear for all of the different crafting, gathering, and processing professions that'll help you, do
Animal
those
husbandry.
different trades. So it's
That's
up to
I
you.
just
Like,
found my
if
new profession.
You said you're higher level in lumberjacking, so you could
Animal
grab some
husbandry.
of that stuff to kind of compound on the stats, make you.
I
make
will
you
breed
faster at
horses
chopping
like
or
no
Oh, sure,
tomorrow.
maybe
over
find
to
some
that
rare
guy to
stuff.
buy
So.
that
I will
stuff?
be a
Okay,
horse
cool.
breeder.
So
Gonna
from
make the
this
best
guy, let me
horses.
purchase his bags.
Yeah, why don't you grab the bountiful bag from him. The bountiful ones are pretty great. They I think they have the increased stack size on them, so you can stack up more herbs in that bag than you can in others.
I see that
also-
there is a novice herbalism bag.
And if you
Yeah.
scroll down at the bottom, there's Alien Herbalism Basket.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna grab the basket.
Yeah,
All right. Done. I got one of those.
sweet,
Do
awesome.
I need anything else? Do I need any other bags?
Yeah, let's run over this way to the stoneworks. There's another gentleman over here that we can talk to. Kind of standing by this crane.
Okay.
And you can do the same thing from him. Throw a little gold at him, and he'll give you some bags and stuff.
I'll get from this guy the
Have a
stone.
bag in your bag.
let's see
Novice
here.
Bountiful mining bag.
Novice bountiful. Okay, got it.
Awesome.
You
So
buy
now
your horses from me,
those
Jake.
bags should be in your inventory, and if you right-click them, they'll equip. And then if you go over to your materials tab, you should be able to see those new bags that we got.
Okay, so just real quick, you were speaking earlier about the unique stack sizes as being part of the kind of asymmetric design for bag crafting. And these bags have specifically curated benefits for stack sizes of the type of resources they relate to, and that's the specific profession of gathering.
I don't know if
the
I like
resources
that
you
either.
gain
I
from
hope they
those-
change this
those different
to have
unique
bags.
professions. So by equipping
your
this herbalism
bag.
bag,
Oh, you equip it.
Let's
Okay,
see
never mind.
here.
So it's, now I'm good.
and then also let me just
But where
open
did
up
it
the
go?
materials section, and this one. I see now I've actually gotten a unique looking
Yeah, there it is.
structure
good.
for the Alan
I
herbalism
was hoping that it
basket.
wasn't just
And those are the
sitting in
types
your
of structures
backpack,
that you would
so you
expect
got
them to
more
gather
slots.
that are the gatherables for herbalism, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So that's not necessarily to say that I can't collect non-herbalism resources. I could, and I could put them in that bag, but it just wouldn't utilize the most beneficial aspect of it, which is the higher stack count for those types of herbalism resources.
Yeah, exactly. We can also, there can also be constraints on the shape, right? Like we were talking about, like you can kind of see. I'm not sure what materials you have in your bags, but like I have a couple pieces of wood that are 1 by 3, And so, in the herbalism bag, I'm not sure that there's any slots for pieces of wood that are that size, right? So, there'll be some
You will have
constraints
probably for
and
skinning,
benefits in terms of shape, and then also
or
the stack size
maybe
based
for
on
animal
the
thingy.
type. So,
Okay, cool. Very cool. So now
like,
let's.
good-
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So a good example would
Farming.
be if you equip the mining bag as well on top of the herbalism bag. You'll be able
That
to
UI
see
is going to just
the
expand every
shapes are different,
more and more.
but you can see the mining bags are 2x2s and herbalism bags are 1x2s. So you can technically put herbs into your mining bags, but you won't get the benefit of the stack bonuses of the mining stuff,
Love
right?
it. Yeah, that's
And
very cool.
al-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike. Were you saying something else?
Also, the earlier versions might be very restrictive in sizes. So like the novice mining bags and herbalism bags are very shape restrictive. But as you level up and then make better bags, it might be more generous of shapes. So you could technically do some other things as well, and then have more bigger sizes and be able to hold more variety of things as well.
Okay, very nice. I think that's pretty cool. Should we go to the lumberjack to grab those?
I think
were you
Steven
talking
is
about some, equipment that he might have that might help us with our lumberjack.
oh yeah,
I do
definitely,
wanna
yeah.
level that up.
Sweet.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
They need
Oh,
to
yeah,
work
there's
on the
a list
knees.
here. I have
It
I also have a
looks like
quest
his
that
knees are
relates
like always
to
bent when he's running.
rise after felling.
Kinda
Oh yeah, that's the certification quest.
feels a bit
So
weird.
as you mentioned before, we're planning on having some content related to onboarding players to the different professions, and you're going to need a tool for the first time, and
Blacksmithing.
you're going to want to craft a thing for the first time and kind of learn how to
Woodshop.
do those things. But
He
we
looks
also
like a
want to
blacksmith,
extend
but he's
that
a
out
woodshop.
to kind of more of a individual story arc like experience for players. So as you become a better lumberjack, you'll play out your story as a lumberjack. So these different certification quests are meant to be kind of keystone moments in that story progression. So right now we have something kind of simple set up. It looks like you already had collected all of the wood that you needed, right? But you also need to reach the level needed to even take on an apprenticeship. So I think, yeah, see what he's got. I'd check out some of the gear. I think that will, since you're already pretty good with the wood chopping, you could probably get a little faster with the gear that he has.
So he does have. He has a shirt, pants, and I think it's that. Oh, and a tool belt.
They have to
Yeah.
hopefully
Different
add like a
and
dressing room, right?
different
So you don't have to have
benefits.
200 different
like
clothing for
lumberjacking
everything
speed
every
from
time
the
you're gonna go
pants
do something.
And from the
New will
shirt,
fix it after 2
and
years.
the tool belt's gonna give
Hopefully
me
they have a
processing.
fix for it already at the
Um,
start. Where you
Oh,
can
I
just
think you might be looking
click
at
a button and you
milling.
wear your
Yes.
lumberjacking shirt or
Yeah, so at
whatever
this
other shirt.
service building, we're housing another 3 professions. So there's carpentry stuff here, there's the lumber milling stuff here, and there's also the lumberjacking stuff here. So Woody's gonna have stuff from all 3.
Let's
If
see
you're
if when
looking
he
to do
wears
any
it. What happens when he wears it?
woodworking related activities, he's your guy. So
And that's sort of what we mentioned when we were showing the nodes in a live stream a few months ago, was like your ability to build buildings to really cater to the important industries to your region or to your node.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just take a look here. I know this is obviously, guys. I want to state this again. We always state this in every showcase, but everything you see here is still a work in progress. We are working
nice.
towards our Alpha 2. That includes things like visual effects.
But you can only wear one.
UI.
Yeah, I see.
These are all very functional states, but not necessarily at their polished states. So there's still a lot of
Awesome.
work that needs to be done there. I noticed that we have 3 slots for the equipment that I just put on, and they're not displaying visually, but we do intend to provide that visual display as an option to the characters, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Very
It would be a toggleable thing that players could be do.
Just hope
in
you
the
can
future when we
swap
assets.
between different clothing
There's a lot of assets.
without having them all in your inventory, just taking up
All right,
space.
let us. So
If
what
you
should
wanna
we do?
do
You wanna go out and
mining
gather some stuff?
and let's say
Yeah.
gathering
So
herbalism or
we
whatever.
were kind of scouting out there. beforehand, and we know a pretty good spot. If you're heading out kind of past the smithy, you should see a good old Tower of Carfen out there in the distance. And if you head a little bit east of that, you can kind of see some like rock formations up there. That's where we're heading. There's a nice little valley in there. I think it has pretty much everything that we're looking for. So.
Okay. I love the autumn look out here. I think
Yeah, it
fits
looks great,
perfectly
to be
for this
honest.
time of year.
The
Yeah, definitely.
We just
visuals
have Thanksgiving. Feels kind of a little
Indeed.
bit like Thanksgiving.
for
out here.
being an Alpha 1.
It does feel like Thanksgiving. It's beautiful. I really like the colors. It's turning out really good.
It's my
Absolutely.
favorite season so far.
Oh,
By the way, does
really?
Vera have Thanksgiving too, or no?
Hey, no trying to get lore out of me. This is an artisanship focus.
Give us
And
the
one
lore.
thing we
I
won't
tried.
leak during a live stream.
I know, right?
Lord.
The one thing.
I really love the leaves falling down effect. Just when you're walking
Yeah.
by. It's nice.
Speaking of
Yes.
leaks, however, I know
We
that I
have
am,
autumn
playing a
for,
Ranger
um,
class. You might
a
see
month?
a couple of early
Maybe
look at
2?
the Ranger skills here in case we run into any potential
2 months
resistances.
autumn.
But next month we are doing a Ranger update, and it's going to be pretty fun.
I don't like autumn
So
or
there's
winter. I love like spring and
Nice.
summer,
I
I
obviously.
see how it is. It's okay for skill abilities, but not for the lore.
That is
Aw,
true.
man.
That is true. The lore is safely guarded.
Unbelievable.
Ooh,
So we do have some wolves. Someone's chopping out there. Is that you,
you're
Nathan?
shopping.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thought I'd
nice.
get a
Oh,
little jump
I
on
see
it.
it falling in the distance. Ah,
Where?
that's great. over to
Autumn
the
would be great
left.
in a game, but not in real life.
I think he's up on that hill.
Same goes with winter.
To the
I don't like winter, snow, cold.
chop down some trees too. Oh, we do. This is ash. We need oak though, right? Or do I need oak?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that
just
ash will
trying to
be helpful.
Nathan just trying to become Grandmaster before you, Steven.
Exactly. I will leave
Oh,
this
God.
land a barren wasteland.
That's a
There'll be
big
no
ass
trees
wolf.
for you to chop.
He sicked some wolves on me.
Yeah, all part of my master plan.
That's some giant
Nice.
wolf compared to the
Yeah,
character.
get a few of these oaks, at least enough to level up, and then we need to find some basalt. Basalt is gonna have the zinc and copper that you need. Oh, here's some over on the ridge.
Where at?
Oh, yeah, up the cliff.
Basalt.
Yeah, can you see me?
Ooh, that area looks kind of twisted and gross.
Yeah.
Ah.
Wolf.
Corruption? Look at that giant wolf. Like bigger than the character.
Wow. Really aggravating. Quickly. What? So now this area appears to have a little bit of a corruption that started seeping in. Looks like
Yeah.
the citizens of this town aren't doing their job.
Fight back the corruption.
Whole neighborhood's going to hell.
There's
Spooky.
rubies here too.
Yeah,
looks
yeah, I
like
think
New
we can grab
World.
those. Yeah, it's novice.
Yeah,
There you
these
go.
are the new rubies that we just introduced with chaos physics enabled.
Oh, nice.
Takes quite a lot. long
thanks
time to
Noah
mine,
and some magic from engineering. When you see it gather, you see that shudders.
Oh, that's awesome. Love that. That's
Yes.
super cool.
Additionally,
Yeah,
if you open your backspace now, you'll see that your mining bag has now rubies, and it prioritizes based on your stack size.
Oh, let me see here. Hold on. First, let me gather a little bit of.
Look for some basalt. I think
yeah,
there's some over here.
any Basalt over here.
To the right. There's one right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
there we
here's-
go.
Right here? No, this is opal.
Nope.
Right here.
Oh,
Opal. I can't even interact with the opal.
No, it's right here.
yeah.
Basalt.
Oh, don't we need opal?
I think so. I think we need night opal, which is the one that only really appears at night.
Okay. Interesting.
Mining seems to take way longer time than cutting
I've got
down a
some
tree.
zinc and basalt.
Nice. Okay,
It
so you
kind
got
of makes
lucky.
sense.
You got the drop
Maybe.
chance.
I don't know.
So this gave me
Yeah,
two
really-
things. It gave me zinc as well.
I guess
Yes.
mining is gonna
Yeah.
be more. If that's
so when
the
you're
case,
when you're mining stone, like we're trying to do stuff
mining
that makes
should
sense,
be-
right? With the drops.
mines
So
should be more
in
valuable
stone, you'll
than
find metal
wood.
and gems, and depending on the
I guess.
the
Which also
tier and
makes
the
sense.
type of stone, there'll be different kind of selection of gems and stuff that you can get in it, or metals. So you may, if you're trying to target a certain metal, you might want to consider some particular stone as well. And as you get better at mining and doing stone related stuff, you'll kind of learn the ropes there, so you can make better decisions.
Okay, that's cool.
Additionally, as you gather, you can actually notice that your durability goes down for your tools.
Oh, really? Let's see. I'm using this pickaxe. It's at 95.
Nice. All right, you got plenty of durability left. It's good to repair when you get into town, though. So it kind of sucks when you find something real nice and your durability's low
Kinda
or tools
explodes a
broken.
bit too
and you won't
much
be able
the
to hit it.
ores when it
Nice.
like
Man, I really love
explodes everywhere.
the physics. It's like
A
I
bit too
remember
much.
in the Gathering stream, we were showing off
But again, alpha, so I'm not gonna judge
the
that
trees,
much.
and kind of like set a precedent with how that
But you
looks.
see how
and
fast the
now we
tree
have to make
falls
all the other
compared
stuff,
to
just as cool. So
node?
the rocks and gems and metal were like kind of a big hurdle for us.
He is
And
a strong
having
man,
it in a
but
place where
what
it's
the
starting to
hell?
look really good. That was super exciting.
That was so cool. That was actually really cool. That should
Yeah,
definitely knock
the
you
bigger
over,
tree
kill
fall takes a bit longer time, but
Oh,
Oh,
you're
I
leveled up.
leveled!
Let's go.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, I've reached
Nice.
level 10.
What the-
Oh my god, that just killed Mike.
the movement of the tree when it's
alive.
falling kind of was
Tree's
what the
gonna
fuck,
kill me.
Oof moment.
Grab some daffodils, maybe?
So you leveled up, you said?
Yes, it said I leveled up.
Okay, well, you gotta. Okay, so when you level up, you're gonna get some skill points, and you should be able to put those in your skill tree. You should pop that open.
There we go. Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
I have a bunch already
Oh.
allocated, but now I have 2 new points.
Cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you should spend those and poke around in the tree a little bit. But yeah,
Actually.
that is something that we're wanting to do
Oh,
with
maybe-
our artisanship.
maybe that's
both,
why the,
in-
trees
in
are,
all 3 of the branches. You'll have
falling
skill
faster
trees for
because he
your
is
profession,
actually
so
putting
those
points
skill
in
trees, you'll be
stuff.
able to find passives that'll give you stat bonuses and predicates for extra functionality within whatever the profession is. Access
I
to
see,
stations.
that makes sense.
Expanding out some of the various systems, like I don't know, you can see some of the surveying ones, right? Like you can add extra pylons or extra scanning range and lower the
made
cooldown
by
on how often you can survey. So we're trying to make those trees interesting and give people different paths so they can progress through.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So obviously, I'm looking at this the skill tree right now, and I see one side is dealing primarily with yield, the other side is dealing with, with rarity, with quality. The other side dealing with yield, and then the survey system.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the survey system.
Yeah, so surveying is something that we're trying to use for gatherers to really kind of interact with the things that we want to do with our dynamic world. One of those things is we want to be able to spawn stuff randomly, and we want to put it in places in the world that
Can
will
you
make
be a
people
butcher?
travel and bolster up
Butchery.
our
I would love to
our local player to
do
player
the animal
economies, have
husbandry
people,
and then
kind of
butchery.
actually be out in the world looking
That's
for stuff
probably gonna be
and
my
not
two professions.
standing in the same place waiting for a tree or a flower to respawn over
The
and over
husbandry
again.
and
So
then butchery.
we're kind of having the best of the both worlds, where we have our lower tier stuff that will fill out the base look of our world so that it's always kind of looking good. And then the higher tier stuff from Apprentice onward will always kind of spawn randomly in places that we've deemed look good and make sense for what that thing is. So surveying is a way that you can track that stuff down. It will help you find places, it will help you find particular resources, it will help you find resources at a certain rarity. And yeah, so it should be something you could do as a gatherer on your own, or group up with other people to bolster up the power of your survey or the range or reach of it. So yeah.
Oh, it says I need a higher certification for this tree.
It's a
Oh.
corrupted oak.
Gotcha. Well, you just leveled up, so I bet
That's a
you
boss?
if we
Look at
went
this.
back to town
Oh my god!
and
There's some fucking crazy. Or excuse me. There's some crazy.
Oh no, forgot you can bleep that
Oops,
out.
bleep that out. There's some dude up there. That's awesome.
I mean, I would say the same
A
thing if
dude?
I saw
I
that.
know.
Oh, geez.
ancient horror.
Step away from a gentleman.
Yeah, let's
back it up
back
a
up a
little
little bit.
Yes.
Yep.
How are you doing on Backspace, by the way?
How am I doing on what? Say again? Backspace, yes. Let me open that up. I have 3 copper, 22 basalt, 17 zinc, 5 ruby, a number of dandelions.
I will be a
and
butcher,
daffodils.
and I will do animal husbandry
Fibers. Okay, that's
and
cool.
play a
A
dreadnought.
bunch of,
Like that's a
what?
perfect role play.
And as you notice,
For a
all
GM.
of those materials actually sorted nicely in the appropriate backspace.
That's
on
it's
your,
already
stack
done.
sizes.
Oh yeah, that is pretty nice. So it didn't misplace them in a
I will have a
different
nice
bag
farm.
than what is best.
Breed horses,
Yeah,
breed-
it
breed
prioritizes
pigs,
basically the best stack size
butcher
first,
them,
and
make
then
awesome
it's
food.
finds the other empty
Mm-mm.
spots after.
Yeah,
That's a
we're-
pretty
we're
nice quality of life feature.
Definitely. We
Hopefully we have no
you know,
vegans.
there was a lot of
guild.
discussions about the spatial inventory
It's gonna
and
be a
the different
requirement.
stack sizes and whether that could cause like confusion for players or extra stress on sorting of inventory. And I was like, all right, well, no matter what we do, we got to try and make this as easy and usable for players as possible. And luckily, really smart people like Alex and Alec and our UI team, Colby
You are
and the
not
gang,
vegan. I have
that are
proof, Jake.
helping
You
us
ate hamburgers
make,
at my place.
the system that we want.
You are a
function
fake-ass
really
vegan if
nicely.
you are a
So,
vegan.
that was one of those features that came on. That's like, all right, well, I don't have to every single time I
You
get something,
are a meat
look
lover.
and see what bag's the best for it to be in.
Meat?
The code can do it for us. So
Very cool.
nice.
All right, we're ready to head back now.
Yeah, let's head back to town
That
and
was
get
a
your
big damage.
Your,
It was
your,
big Steven damage.
apprenticeship.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. Now, obviously, let's talk a little bit about how
True.
gathering.
You can
is a
be
bit
whatever
different
you
in
want to be
Ashes.
as long as you feel like it
And
in
one of
2023.
The most unique things.
2024
about, I
probably
think,
gonna be the same.
world
Hopefully in
is
2025 we
obviously
will
the
get back
number
to
of
our
different
senses.
systems we have that change.
We will have a
world
normal
state.
world.
We just saw a corrupt zone. Hold on, let's get this dude.
And then you only have to choose if you're gonna be a vegan.
Oh, okay. he died.
You cannot eat meat.
We just saw a corrupt zone, and that zone becomes corrupt after a period of time in which players are not addressing some issues that arise through certain events or through certain story arcs, and that corruption can spread, and corruption changes the spawners for resources and for monsters.
Back to sanity.
And that has a fundamental effect on the resource economy of the game.
Yeah, definitely. It plays into scarcity. It gets players out in the world searching for different things that are predicated on the dynamic parts of our world. Right? We can do stuff with day and night time. We can do stuff with seasons. We can have things that are specifically related to some event or story arc or corruption, even particular locations. Right? The regionality of a biome. Some frozen tundra place that's completely covered in ice versus the riverlands and the lushness there. So
The lushness.
don't want to just have that stuff in and not be doing anything with it. So we're trying to play on that for gathering and open up the diversity of stuff.
I'm
that you
super
can process
actually
and
I am very
craft,
excited about
by
the
finding those things. So.
the more I watch,
Yeah,
the more
I love
excited I get for
Um,
the game.
We
To be
mentioned
honest. I
actually
really want this game to come
the
out
time
so
of
we
day
can dominate.
and seasonality as being part of that world state change.
Mhm.
And as I understand,
That's a
oops,
giant
as I
sword in
understand
there.
it, we have a number of
The
different.
camera.
Let me see here. Go over to recipes. Can I look at that? We have to. Don't we have to gather some recipes or some materials that are predicated on time of day?
Yeah, I think those are the ones that we're talking about that were part of your Nightblade, right? The moon bells and the night opals. Night opals do not reveal themselves during the daytime.
Surprise, surprise. And then the moonbells are similar. Yeah, they only bloom at night. So if you're looking for those in particular, you want to keep an eye on the day-night cycle and know where they're found in the world.
How long does the day
And
last?
yeah,
Do we know?
I do have some powers if we want to perhaps change it to nighttime that I could use. Shall we?
Steve
'Cause
is so
it'll
powerful.
take a little while probably for us to get to nighttime. At least another hour or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's
so
do
it's
it.
at
All
like
right, hold
2
on.
to 3 hours
Stand by.
every cycle. Oh,
Oh my goodness.
the Steven power.
There we go.
Now. Ooh.
Look at that man.
Okay.
It's
Things are getting
looking
a little freaky deaky out here. You guys will probably notice that the nighttime is significantly darker than when you guys last saw our nighttime update. We saw feedback from the community that bringing in the field of vision through the
I wouldn't mind this being a bit darker even, right?
And that's what we have adjusted
But
a bit.
put more like
now,
lights
I'm
in the
excited
cities
because
or village.
I have
Like
a certification.
living fire would
that
be
I can,
great, right?
I think
To
update now, right?
make it lighter.
Yes, you should be able to upgrade your
more,
lumberjacking to apprentice,
RP
which
feeling.
give you access to a new tool, so we can craft one of those if you want. We should make your chopping faster, help you find
Feels
some
a
rare
bit
stuff.
still too light when he's
Um,
standing right
yeah.
here in the dark.
All right, let's see here. I'm gonna accept.
There we go.
We've
Ta-da.
done it.
Yeah, so I think if you open your artisanship window, if you look at your lumberjacking, it should say that you're an apprentice now.
Yes.
There we go, and you got
very
a nice little
nice.
chunk of XP from that too. It's
Yeah,
nice.
that was pretty good.
Cool. So now that you've done that, go. I think this anvil. Yeah, this
That
is the
power
same
looks
anvil
so cool though.
as the herbalism. See
mean,
if you can craft a
Visuals look really
a
good.
tool there.
The darkness
what
could be
materials do you
darker.
need?
I agree.
It says that I need zinc fragments and oak timber for novice lumberjacking. The apprentice requires zinc fragments with copper fragments and oak timber.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that's all novice stuff. So, so the way that the certification stuff breaks down is that everyone gets to be a novice everything. So all 22 professions the players get to be novice of.
Yeah.
And then it starts kind of
The
like narrowing
shoulders
from
are
there. So after that,
looking
you'll only be
small
able to be
indeed.
an apprentice of 5 things.
But
You can
I
be a
hope
journeyman
that's
in 4
a
things. You could be a
character
master in 3
creation
things.
feature,
and you
right?
could be a
How you
grandmaster in 2 things.
how big
So
your character you want to
you'll
be.
need to narrow, but
fat,
you can also
small,
sort of
fit,
diversify to support
whatever.
the professions that you want to first push further in. So
Now, obviously,
Um,
those restrictions are in place in order to create a dependency cross-player faction, right? For how players specialize their progression in the artisanship trees.
yeah, I mean, like being social is important to us, right? Like we want players to interact with each other. We want the professions to make stuff for the other professions that are useful.
Good.
You know, I influenced quite a bit by the Star Wars Galaxies style crafting, and just having people in your
Star
network
Wars
that can
Galaxies.
supply the metal that you need to make your armor, and the flowers that you need to make your potions, and maybe the potions that you need to make your enchantments. That to me was really interesting and part of the gameplay of
Look at that,
economic gameplay of being a good crafter, being a good gatherer, is having
he
that,
likes to look at
that
himself,
system.
Steven.
So, and it really plays into the
What a nice posture. But with a small
economic,
shoulder.
field of a particular server, right? You can come in and be like, I want to be the potion mogul here.
The
right?
lumberjack guy
And
looks
having
kind of
good
buff.
sources, and having a guild that supports you is just really, really interesting. And without sort of narrowing down what you have access to yourself, it takes away from the ability to achieve that, right? So
Yeah. So now, okay, we're going to be creating this, you said, apprentice tools. What do I need to do that? It said fragments, zinc fragments, and I think copper fragments.
awesome. So the zinc fragments and copper fragments are going to be from the metalworking profession, and then the oak timber will be from the lumber milling profession. So since we're here, we can do the lumber milling, and this is the station
or
that
you have
need
to
right next to us.
choose.
So this is the debarker. This is one of the few stations that lumber milling
I
has.
think you can take whatever, right? You can be all
debarker,
professions if you
the
want
head
to.
saw, and I think the drying kiln, along with the refinery. So this is the novice station.
Oh, you have to
I
choose.
think
That's
this
great.
is an apprentice
I like
version
that you
here,
have to choose.
Since we're at a service building that's built,
Which makes the
service
professions
buildings
mean
usually come
something.
stocked with
If
some,
everybody can be everything, then
some better base stations, and then you can kind
professions
of,
become
progress
meh.
them from there depending on how you expand the buildings. But so why don't you interact with this? And
I will definitely
yeah, I
go
think this is the
butchering
first time
and
that we've ever
animal
done
husbandry.
any
Let's go.
Processing, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Best
Now,
combo.
We alluded to it a little bit when we were showcasing the freeholds, but this is everyone's first look at kind of how
Can I be
works.
animal husbandry
as
and
you said,
butchering
we're looking to
and
make
a
some
butcher
oak timber
at the
here.
same time, Jake?
And as I've clicked on the oak timber to add fuel, it says, to the oak timber side. Talk to me, Mike, a little bit about what fuel does for processing.
What do you mean?
So
Probably
fuel
not.
is the basic requirements on top of the resources that
Isn't that
you
obvious
need
to have a
craft the
farm,
thing. So every
breed
processing station
animals,
will
and then
require some
butcher
kind of
them?
fuel to automate the
That sounds logical.
process to make these processed resources. So most of the resources or any type of resource or items could technically have a fuel value attached to them, and then
That's
each recipe
I guess
will
butchering
require
is a processing
some kind of a
and
fuel value to
husbandry
be
is
met to be able to
crafting.
process these things. So think of it as like if you're melting ore, you need to put fuel to fire to melt the ore, right? So that kind of concept exists on all our processing stations. So when you click on it,
If I can't be
you should
that,
be
it
able
sucks.
to put the oak wood or
I don't like
anything
that
you have
restriction,
gathered
but I like the
to-
two professions
So I've
at each
added
time
one of the
restrictions.
oak wood.
But what you
I see I also have a
choose,
number of different,
I don't think you should restrict.
herbalism resources here as
Or
well.
what
Do
to
those
mix.
act as fuel potentially?
Yeah, most of our resources will have some kind of a fuel value to it, and like I mentioned, like some items do. But for this recipe, you only
character
need one. Some other recipes
may
might need
only master
100
one
or
of
50,
three parent
etc., etc.
resistance classes.
But the thing is,
It is possible to master
some
up
items
to
might
two
be
professions
just
within same master
catered towards being a
artisan
fuel, right? So
class
something
per
like
character.
charcoal or something like coal,
Subject
something
to
like
testing. A character will
anything
not-
that is just designated as a
the character
fuel
will
will just
be
have a very
able to achieve up to
efficient
tier
fuel
3
value.
or tier
So you
4
kind of want to save
proficiency
that
in
for higher
professions that
recipes,
are not
or
mastered.
something simple like this one. You can pretty much use anything that's
I don't know.
common.
I
or,
feel like
or lore,
you
or
shouldn't restrict
degrade,
what
or,
professions you
sorry,
choose, but you should
the
restrict it
tier
to
1
two.
items to be in the fuel.
Okay. So I've added in the wood for the fuel.
Oh, okay.
And now
If I can be,
because my
okay, so
fuel
I
has
can
been
be
selected,
butcher and
I can
husbandry,
start the job.
but
It
not
says the
master in
duration
both.
is 1 minute.
I'm fine with that.
Now I'm noticing at the top of the
I like that.
processing station that we have.
If I can be a
3
master
available slots.
husbandry
Is that a queue that players can
and
use?
like a a little bit
Is it
lower
shared
master, I
with
guess,
just themselves?
on the
Talk to me
butcher.
a little bit
For-
about that.
We will
For
see
Node,
which one is
it's
smarter.
personal, so we didn't want to congest like
If like
only 3
horses
spots
has a
for
lot
every
of
single person
value,
in the
if you
node.
can breed
That would have
horses,
been pretty bad. So
make like
it's-
a,
the queue system is only for yourself, but
mounts,
something personal like
right?
freeholds would
Then
be
we'll go down. If
station based.
you can
so
make
if
awesome
5 people
food
wanted
that
to
has
use
a lot of
one
saying
station at
for
the
like
freehold,
PvP
you have
and
to wait in
PvE,
line,
then we
and
go that
that
instead.
kind of comes into the family
We'll
system
see.
we talked about on the freehold live stream, where you want
Man,
to
I'm excited for this.
limited access
Artisan
to
sounds-
whoever is viable
they have
for
thought it
the
through then.
fuels, or for the stations. But for any service buildings in the node, it's all personal, so you can queue up
Ooh,
as
I
much
can have
as
a
you
level
want, and then someone else
butcher
can
alt
just
in my
combine and
house.
use the same station.
That's
and then
fucking
queue
great.
for their station.
That's
But-
awesome.
But
additionally, it will also be influenced by nodes. So like
I
right
don't
now
know
you
if I
see
like
3, but
alt,
it could be 5,
like,
it could be 2 simultaneous
reliance, right?
jobs,
I want
etc.
one character,
based
I
how
want to
you
be
know
immersed
those.
into that
Got it. So
character,
there are specializations
invest
that
to
the
my character,
processor
and not be able
can
to
take,
or
if
not
the
have
node
to
should
do
elect to do
alts,
so,
which
the
kind of
citizens
takes away from
participate
your
in that
character, right?
upgrade that would
character
increase
you
that
wanna
size,
main.
or perhaps even the efficiency of the processing
But
jobs
I guess-
as well, both speed.
I don't know. I don't like that. I want my one character to play, and
all of those play a
that's
role
gonna do-
in upgrade potential that the node
that's
might
gonna be
choose
the
to
main character,
specialize
I
in.
guess.
Right, but just like we discussed in Freehold live stream as well, the node processing only goes up to journeyman. So if you want to do the highest tier of processing, you probably want to seek out the freehold owners, basically.
Yeah, everyone can do. I'm not saying everyone should do everything, right?
I might be
I'm just
full.
saying you should be
Hold
able
on.
to choose
I can't claim
what
it
two
yet.
professions you want to
Oh.
do,
I need to
which
do
is the
Grace is
case,
full.
Who needs this cheap glint?
and it should be a max 2.
Actually,
Yeah.
you know what, let me move that down. I didn't need to delete that. Whoops.
One,
Okay.
are you just throwing
I
money
like
away?
the
That's how
system.
rich you
It's
are.
not what I'm saying, but
Um,
I don't like
Additional
creating
thing
an
I would like to add
alt
for processing,
to do my
as you can
butchering
cite,
because I
you
want
could-
it to max level.
You could cancel the job also.
So
So, like,
if-
let's say you accidentally schedule
If there is
the
a
wrong
restriction
one, and the
on
only thing that
a
gets consumed is your
system,
fuel.
it
So
shouldn't
fuel
be
is
worked,
basically a sink for these jobs.
worked
Got it.
around with by just making an
Okay,
alt,
so
right?
fuel's
There is
always
if
sunk
there is going to be a
regardless of
restriction, you
canceling
can't
it or
have
not.
both on max,
Yeah, another.
but you can
another
make an
thing
alt
as
that can
well
have
is
it on
that,
max instead.
When
That's
you're-
kind of
when you're
stupid.
choosing the job, you'll see
Because
kind of on the
If you can
right-hand
make it
side
on
that we have
alt, then
something
you
called
should just
job
be
size.
able to make it on the
And
main character.
Right now,
Because it's
there's
same
only
person
the
playing the game,
ability
right?
To make
So I
one
don't
job
see
size,
why you
but,
should have an alt.
this
get
in
that
the same vein of
to max level.
this having like more jobs that you can queue and like better stats that make them go faster or proc extra resources. Job size is another thing that we could do, right? So you probably don't want to use 3
Yeah, you
entire
can stop
slots
that.
just to make
You can
3
stop it by
pieces
just
of oak wood,
remove
but
the
if you had a job
restriction
size that was
of
20,
having a max
you'd be able
level
to
on only
make all
one
20
of the
those
two
with
professions.
with the one job size. So
Because
so
then
it's a little
everybody
different
just gonna
than
make
what
an
people are
alt
used
and
to
just
with,
make max
I'm
level
making
the other
exactly,
profession or
17
all the
pieces
professions
of
anyways.
oak
So
timber.
instead
You
of
might need
just
to,
having one character that
do a
plays
job size of 5
that role,
plus
you will have
1 if you
multiple
need specifically
characters.
6. So
That's awesome.
But you
Yeah,
are going to
we,
invest the
uh,
same
we
amount of
influence
time
by
anyways. You just have to
customization
log in
option
and log out all the
which is
time
stated,
instead, which is
as well. And
I don't see the
perhaps
point.
Policies and or relics, like all those things are an intricate web of boons, benefits, and downsides that apply to these different game functions.
exactly.
I think it
Very
should be a, like a family
Alright, so we're
system,
getting
right?
some timber.
That you can have.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Or
let's
some
head,
kind of
let's head
ID
down to,
that your
the
alt-
smithy over here.
I don't know if you want to
There should be
counter
a
that,
crushing
right?
station. You can
I'm not
crush
saying
up
it's a good
the-
system, but
the,
you can
copper
counter
and
that
zinc
by
you got
not
into
allowing
fragments, and then we should have what we need to make you a new pickaxe. Or
different
axe.
professions on different
Um,
alts.
Oh, this is the crushing station right here.
Nice.
I don't know how would that work actually, or how good that would be if you could only
It's really nice of you to
have two
built
profession
all of
that's
these,
it on any character you
artisanship
make.
service
It's gonna be the
buildings.
same
look at all
profession
these
you can
jobs that you're
choose,
creating. This
I
guy
know.
so you
stays
can
here, gets to
work
hang
by
out
it.
all night.
That kind of also
crushing
sucks, I
rocks.
guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I
Doing
think
stuff.
That is awesome.
Yeah, great for the economy.
I just think they
Really
should
great
remove the
mayorship,
maxing if it's
decision.
gonna just be worked around by making an
That's
alt.
why I'm a term
But you
after
can have
term mayor,
different
just
alts
no
do other
term limits
professions
at
if you
all.
want to.
It's the way we like it here, right? My personal investments have somehow miraculously just had the greatest returns of any citizen of the mayor.
Agreed. I think there's only other.
I
been
would.
one
I will
other
be a
mayor, that
great
was
mayor.
Alec, and I haven't seen him for a really
Mayor
long time.
Ishkur?
So
Right.
It even rhymes. It's,
Am
it
I-
sounds good.
His family members actually came by looking for him too.
Oh no. Okay, so I need to make copper fragments and zinc fragments.
yeah,
So I'm gonna kick off. I'm gonna add some fuel here. Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. Put this, and I'll kick that job off, and then I'll use the zinc. Oh my god.
You can see the NPC working
Yeah,
real
I
hard.
mean, it's okay. I'm not
Okay,
saying it's a good
getter.
system, I
didn't
guess.
even start the other
Mhm.
job
But
yet. He
it
just
could be better.
immediately went to work.
Steven just
Needs a
needs
raise.
to talk to me a little bit. I'll give him.
there we go.
Oh,
The-
okay.
Yeah,
Correct
and,
pitch.
just a comment too on the on that,
And
right?
it will be fixed.
We're trying to sort of marry the visuals with what's actually going on at the station, right? So if you have a job queued, and you're trying to do errands throughout the node or in your freehold or whatever, right? Like, you should
Noise
be able
is
to look at the station and know what's going
very
on. with it.
lewd
So,
indeed.
he's there working, and once he's done, he's gonna stop, and you can be like, okay, there's stuff ready to pick up, and have some visuals associated with that. So, as much as we can have stuff rooted in world instead of throwing a bunch of UI in the player's face, that's something that we're trying to do and is important to us.
That's very cool.
that could
Yeah, and
go
to add
out.
to that, it's,
I think that's why
personal,
he
right?
moved
So
away.
It's only like other people want
I
to
think
see
he
you
got
doing
a
your,
little bit horny,
processing.
Steven.
Got
He-
it.
Yeah, in nodes, right? The freehold ones would be since they are relevant.
You might
to
want to
any of the
choose
people
that
have access
profession
to it,
just for the
you'd
noise,
be able
Jake.
to see that a job is going right.
This guy is a dedicated worker.
Yeah, definitely.
So now, just to remind
Ye-
folks, obviously, when we talk about processing as one branch of the artisanship tree, even though you have access to all branches throughout the world up to some level of degree, best processing is done on freeholds, and the best crafting is done in nodes, right? When we talk about workstation availability. But there is some overlap there, as those of you will remember from our freehold live stream. You do have up to a certain point to progress available to you for both gathering, processing, and crafting without needing necessarily a freehold.
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead, Mike.
Up to journeyman, you'll be journeyman's type of gathering, crafting, and processing should be available pretty much everywhere. And then the specializations really kicks in at the master and above.
Awesome. All right, I have, I believe, acquired now some fragments.
Someone else did the work.
Right on. Well, let's.
If you have to pump that thing and make loot noises.
Next to good old Woody Gungan, and make yourself an apprentice axe. And I think we should be able to
chop that corrupted tree down.
Yeah, that's right.
And then also, now that it's night, while we're out there, you guys could grab perhaps some of the. What were the other ones that I needed?
The night opal. Yeah, I think Mike has high enough mining to get the night opal. And then I think new moonbells.
And since that it's gonna be a little bit annoying to like interact with the station, if it's gonna be this hard that you have to look.
Perfect.
All right, I'm crafting my new
to hit the circle,
axe.
Which I think Steven already noticed, so he's gonna put it in his note to make the thing easier accessible, so you can like just click it and it's gonna go into the crafting menu.
It's 30 lumberjacking speed.
Oh, nice. I think the other one was like only 5, so you should be fast. When we get out there, we should race. See if you can chop the tree down faster than me.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready. Let's go. I actually really like the nighttime. I think it was
it's looking really good.
Call from the community to tune this a bit more on the darker side.
I mean, it should even be a little bit more darker though. I mean, it's the moon is out, so I guess it's okay. But if the moon is not out,
yeah, I did look at the moon. The moon's looking pretty
then
nice.
It should be darker, because the moon is kind of okay. If it's I like this, but
I like the
maybe a touch darker even.
We'll
Wait, is the moon getting closer?
Is it no?
Oh no!
Don't say that.
That's not what we want to hear.
Kill the moon.
So
do it,
Corey. Tell me a little bit, like when we. Right now we're in this night phase. Oh, I love the fireflies too. Noah did a great job on these.
Yeah, Noah is next level. We love Noah.
Cool.
Noah, we love you.
Obviously, moving to night now is going to give us access to these moonbells and these night opals. But when things like the world state change, whether it be corruption related or time of day, it's not just an introduction.
Oh, it's going to be in the
materials, it
snow
also
at nighttime.
is a removal
That would
of
look
some
very
other
nice, I
materials
think.
as well, potentially. So it is a, and some world state changes, like we talked about with corruption, if not addressed, can significantly alter the flow of resources across the world in such a way that creates a bit of turbulence in the world market and economy. And that's what we're trying to achieve with these world state changes.
Yeah.
You can see out in the open, the night opals lit up. Those little blue lights all over the place. That wasn't there before.
Yeah, you can see moonbells as well by the trees.
That was a big damage.
Oh, yeah.
Big Steven
You
damage.
should be able to grab
Moon opals lit
those.
up. That's awesome. Those were just kind of just basic little rocks.
Yeah, so that's like we thought those were all opals, and they were opals during the day, but at night, some of them are actually night opals. So, pretty cool. Oh look, leveled up again.
Oh, I leveled
You're
up
crushing it.
my herbalism.
Herbalism god.
Literal herbalism god.
But is it because he's GM that he can do herbalism,
We're at the same spot.
mining, and lumberjacking? Or the gathering professions, you can just have everything?
You wanna
Do you know, Jake?
protect him?
I guess you can have everything, but you can't max
I'm like max level.
those levels. or what? Yeah, you can do all,
Can you
but you
pet the
can't
dog,
max
Steven?
them, right?
No, but I can shoot him
Yeah.
with an arrow in the face.
See if
Okay.
you can cut
Oh my
it
goodness.
faster than me.
Wait, let's chop the trees down together.
That's right here, Steven. Right here.
Wait, where you at? Where you at?
Right here. Alright, I'll start.
All right. Wait, no, wait. Okay,
Three,
2,
two.
1, go. Wait, no, we messed up. We can do this. How many people does it take to chop down a tree? Okay.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. You just way
Ready?
faster. I have no
1,
clue.
2, 3. Oh, you just got wrecked.
Excuse me.
You just got wrecked.
This is where PvP starts.
Excuse me, sir.
Give
That's
me
my
the
number.
wood.
He's already purple.
Let's go cut down that corrupted tree.
Oh yeah. That's why we're here, huh? There we go.
Yes. This place looks
We'll look at that afterwards, Jake.
good at night.
Fishing,
man.
herbalism.
There's the spooky dude again.
He's just chilling up there.
Yeah, he's eyeing us.
Hunting
He's
sounds
waiting.
super cool though.
Challenger. Will we approach
Oh,
him?
no. Stay away
It
from
was
that
like,
guy.
nope.
Yeah.
Oh my
It looks like
God.
one-shot city up there.
Oh, I can't get these blood-boiled spirit foods.
Yeah. I can tell you the lore behind that.
I don't see any
or,
butchering in that list.
Never mind.
Animal husbandry is good.
Yeah, got some of those.
I guess you have to be a cook or what? Farming.
Come on, man.
Oh, bam.
Uh-oh.
Tree explosion.
There we
What
go.
do you think, Mike? You want to take on this ancient minion over here?
No,
I think we need to
No,
nerf Steven
think
counting
so.
time. That was
Sure.
like less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, that was really.
Yeah.
I was like in there and out of there.
Well, maybe a little
I'll be
balancing
taking
pass
notes already.
necessary. Take that note down, Mike.
Nerf hammer incoming.
Yep. Exactly.
Way to go, Steven. Already nerfing lumberjacking.
I know.
Yep. Yep.
All right, let's. So now do we have all the materials we need? Did you guys get the night opals?
Yeah, I got some.
All right,
Sweet.
Can trade you back in town.
let's do it. Hold on, let's get rid of this guy.
Big damage.
My goodness.
Oh, that was unfortunate.
Animal abuse. Pete up.
Could you butcher them? Like, I want
So
butchering.
now, talk to me a little bit about the.
I guess we will
sword
not
that
have
we're
it.
going to be crafting. Obviously, itemization in Ashes of Creation is not restricted based on class, right? So anybody can wear kind of anything, whatever is most beneficial towards their particular strategy and class kit and build.
W.
But how do we influence that from a crafting perspective?
So the recipe that you learned is somewhat of a unique sword. We want to introduce as mid-level, maybe a little bit high, but generally for
I don't think it's
itemization
same as
purposes,
skinning.
We want to have a viable option for every build that players want to try. I know that's a bold
Skinning is
statement.
more of a.
versus,
You take the
to
skin, you
use.
use the skin.
Yeah,
The
okay, so
butchering
where-
is the
where-
meat.
where-
that you carve out the meat,
Where are we
make
going?
delicious
We have a
pieces of
mini-map
meat
top
that you
right,
can
guys,
make
come on.
food with.
Is this way?
I always get lost out here when I take my nightly strolls.
Sabin, how are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry, Mike. What were you
To your
saying?
left.
To the left. Got it.
To your left. Okay.
I'm not
What
sure
was I
actually
saying?
about the
Anyways,
dual wielding.
I was
You can probably as a rogue. What the fuck is going on?
saying
There we
that we want to support every kind of build that the player wants to try out, and I know that's a bold statement, but that is something that we're going to attempt. Which means a lot of crafting recipes will need to support variable stats, variable playstyles, and for this
I'm
weapon, for
super excited
particular
about the
was,
AOC.
Somewhat of a
Ashes of
unique
Creation.
sword
It's gonna
because
be
it's a
our
sword that
next
has
big
magic
and
penetration,
probably the
so
last
something that
project in
mages
MMO.
maybe might be
We're
able
gonna
to
go
use,
all out
or,
or
clerics,
all in, whichever you
and
like.
then if we go
in the
to
game,
the crafter,
Make the best guild
crafting
ever.
station weapons right here. See?
Most powerful guild.
You should
We're
give
gonna
them
dominate,
the-
and then
Oh,
we're gonna
right, so you
retire.
want-
Night
yeah.
Opal, right.
And then we're gonna leave it to
and
our
trade
kids
to-
to continue the journey.
Done. Okay. we
So
got
that's
some
the
night
plan for
opals,
Ashes of
sweet.
Creation. Hopefully it comes out within 2 years,
Trades.
next 2 years.
All right.
We can hope.
Boom. Got some night opal. Let's do
sweet.
this.
No,
All right.
Yes.
So now
What
I
kids?
see I
I
have
don't know.
my learned
Dark Souls
recipe.
has some.
Nightblade is under weapons category. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, not sure we touched on this on different live streams, but our crafting menus will have some required materials. So those are the things that you must have at that certain rarity. So we have the Night Opal and the Moonbell that's required, and then we have the selectable section where you can put different rarity amounts. You want to do the zinc one first, Steven. So cancel out of there, and then zinc one, and then now you can see that the item itself was uncommon, and then if you add the fragments in,
I just hope the game is gonna
the uncommon Nightblade is here.
Product is gonna be great when it releases.
Legendary zinc fragments.
And the lag is not gonna be issue. I'm afraid of the lagging because it's an open world, big scale MMO.
Additional properties.
It's gonna be epic in scale.
And then if you put the oak timber also at legendary.
Also legendary oak.
And
okay, got it.
And then now it becomes
hopefully the lag is not going to be issue. The systems and tweaks, all that's going to be fixed. But lagging and network side is kind of sucks if you can't do big battles, which is this game is all about. Take over the server or regions.
And when you craft these items with using better materials, the rarity of the item increases.
But it seems such a big game, right? It's so much to do. Just look at the artisanry. It's so in depth. The systems they're implementing that it's gonna be like a game that you can fucking play for years.
Produce an uncommon item, but since we're showcasing this at legendary tier, you can move up the tiers and have the stats increase.
That's awesome. And so obviously there's going to be a number of different types of selectables that you can incorporate as part of the crafting
Hopefully
process.
The lag is not going to be an issue. The
as part of the stat
FPS
block
loss
weapon, but also
and all that can be not an issue.
Predicated on the quality of the selectable that you're contributing.
Right, that would be our sub recipe.
We want to have big scale, big epic battles.
With our common copper sword might have sub recipes that changes the stat block completely, which would be
which is not going to be a lag fest, and you don't see what's happening or what's going on like New World.
Crit damage, but that would be changing the selectable items from oak timber to ash timber, for example, right? Yeah. And then when it's on the selectable level, we can choose the rarity of those resources to increase the rarity of the item produced.
Awesome. And each time you're kind of unlocking a different result with regards to that particular recipe, you're learning that interaction between the selectable materials and the output that comes from it. So learning one recipe actually learns you a multitude of different potential rewards from that one particular recipe.
Yeah, we have something unique. Something unique in our crafting system where we want to have recipe XP of some sort, and then those sub recipes could be earned by leveling up your recipe, which means that you have to craft a Nightblade multiple times to level it up to have a better result.
I actually think, Jake, that
be from a vendor recipe or
being an animal husbandry, you can also butcher it at the same time. It's part of the entire thing.
Have potential to be multiple different.
I'm not sure, but I think that's how it is.
Awesome.
Because
let me go ahead and craft this.
If that's the case, I will be that plus cooking, right?
We've done it. We've received a Nightblade.
Harvest.
The loop is complete.
Or maybe it's harvesting.
Oh my God, we made it through the
maybe
entire
harvesting
loop.
Is gonna be.
I know. Let's see.
I'm not sure.
Let's take a look at what we have in our inventory here.
Is there anything called harvesting?
I see we have a heroic Nightblade that's doing some physical damage and magical penetration with some magical damage as well.
No, so maybe it's just cooking and animal husbandry.
Well, obviously we have some comparable version there, but let me go
that
ahead
would be so
and
cool, though.
This. Oh, that looks good. That looks
awesome. You're styling. You are styling. You put in the work, and now you're styling.
Oh, I love it. That looks super cool.
Sweet.
Very nice.
It looks okay, but you need to have the set to wear this. Like it's kind of too blue for his
perspective here. Hold on. Stand by. Ladies and gentlemen, we have crafted world first on the Nightblade. We have done it.
True.
Very cool. So guys, we just walked through from start to finish crafting one particular recipe, of course of many, as itemization is a very key component of player progression within the world of Vera. And as you can see, from gathering to processing to crafting, This is the type of experience and the unique aspects of that
I
process
really
that
like it. Like
is within Ashes of Creation.
it
We do these
sounds like it's
demonstrations so
thought
that you
through,
guys get an early look
and it's
during
in depth.
development on the direction of this
And
particular core
if this is
loop,
the
this core
start,
system to
then
Ashes.
it's gonna be great, right?
And we want your feedback on it.
Since
What
this
did
is
you
alpha.
think about the gathering, the processing, the stations, the times that it takes, the queue system for it, the unique interactions with the recipes, the progression of the recipes,
Introduce butchering,
the
please.
tool dependencies, and the skill tree that you saw,
Butchery.
the unique world state that influences the economy and the ability of players to accumulate these resources and move them across the world. We're fresh off of a caravan stream as well, where you kind of see how those materials, those resources, that wealth gets accrued and transited across the world. So all of these things are things we want you to opine on in our YouTube, on the forums, on different social medias. Talk to us about what you saw today and how you feel about it. Where do you think that it could be improved?
I would
and
butcher
how it relates
those,
to
but
your previous experiences and other MMOs that you
Jake,
played and what you've enjoyed about them.
I want it in game.
But otherwise, Mike,
there we go.
Corey, Nathan, Alex, thank you guys for joining me. I know the audience obviously appreciates all the hard work that you guys put in, that everybody on the team puts in. And this is a very big group effort, obviously, to get these types of systems up and running. I know I appreciate it. The audience does too. Thank you for joining us and chatting with us a little bit about how all the stuff works. And everyone, I will see you guys back on stream in just a moment.
See you all.
Thanks so much, y'all.
Woohoo! We hope that you all enjoyed that. Lucy did. She was watching with bated breath for every single moment, weren't you, Lucy?
Lucy's ready to get out there and craft.
I have Pablo right here that will devour that cat.
But
I was gonna say pussy, but it was a cat.
That we noticed from chat.
I mean
our
cat,
wonderful community managers have been pulling those in. But while we answer those, I will have the video up, just kind of like playing in the background, so you can kind of relive all the crafting goodness. But for the first couple are more reiterations.
She's a cat woman. I knew it.
The stream, but I think that it wasn't clear because people have been keep asking it post that. So the first one was, how many people can use the crafting stations at once, and is there a queue to use them?
So as it stands now, crafting stations and processing stations that exist within nodes are unique to the player. So meaning there is no limitation on who and how many people can use a crafting station within a node. That's different on a freehold. Freehold, it shares the queue. So if you have family members that are wanting to use the processing stations on your freehold, those queues are limited on a per job basis, right? Whereas in nodes, because they don't go to the highest tier possible,
that door is like a giant door, Jake. On Steven's house.
Those are personalized. So you saw when I was doing a number of different processing actions, I had my own little queue section up above where I could have 3 jobs running at sequentially. Now upgrades in the node can change those things. So as the service building that's offering the processing or the crafting, it has upgrades. There are policies that exist.
You need to have a good mayor.
Relics that you can acquire.
Make the right choices.
All of which change the dials a bit on
what to upgrade,
processing yield,
what to do
processing
first,
time, processing job size. Like those things can get adjusted, and that helps players determine where do I want to go to do the things I need to do? Which node should I use? It is important to understand how
we're gonna have the greatest city, metropolis,
limited amount of specializations you
in all the servers,
with the service building plots,
or of all the servers.
Enacted,
everybody should come to us.
Can you provide more details in regards to the design philosophy behind why it's a queue system for freeholds but not for nodes?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the freehold, processing can achieve the highest levels of processing. That's where the highest levels of processing occur.
No.
Nodes,
you are doing that already in real life, Jake.
Processing.
You want to live an adventure in MMO, you can't just do literally what you do in real life in the game as well.
Resources that can be processed at any given time in response to the fluctuation and flows of the economy, right? So we want to make sure that the economy is kind of a bigger ship when turning than being able to immediately start processing everything at once and get new resources out as the flow of supply and demand changes within the world. And because again, that's at the highest levels of processing, and you're sharing the available queues that exist at those stations, it's going to take time, and it's going to take a long time for the higher level materials.
All right. And then the next one here is more of a commentary.
We need to see the queue thingy, how it works and how long a queue is it.
I think in the past we've also done a whole
I don't know if I necessarily love it,
feedback thread and report on this topic specifically, but why did you go with a spatial inventory system for resources?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So obviously there's a number of different methods that we can use
Where's Pablo?
In an effort to
There's a cat on the TV.
or again, throttle the amount of success that players can have in any one trip out in the world. Right now, we're using a combination of three things. We are using progression gating through your profession level, right? So you need to have a certain level to access certain resources. We are utilizing the spatial inventory space as a limitation on how much things you can gather before you need to go back to town. And then lastly, we have a tool predicate, where you need to have a tool that is relevant for the resource.
Maybe Steve expands when he walks, so he has to go through those giant doors every time because he is actually super big, or gets buffed as he walks.
However, the spatial system works in concert with a number of other types of systems. For example, we want to have itemization drop on death, specifically as it relates to material items. And we want there to be an additional layer above just weight that introduces complexity. And where there is complexity, there is choice, and there is strategy, and there is planning required on behalf of the player in order to set themselves up for the best possible success in certain situations, right? And so situationally, it's unique which bag type you choose. This also gives us a unique progression realm within bags themselves, so that bags are catered towards a specific quote-unquote weight class, and that is augmented by the spatial component, right? So as you introduce not just the weight aspect that you would normally see through stack size, but you also have the grid formation of the spatial aspect to again make it a relevant choice when you're leaving town.
Everybody's gonna have a mining bag, right?
We want to have a deep progression
because it's a forest lottery,
as well,
like
because it not only interfaces with
2x2
the resource gathering, but also the PvP
which
aspect
could also be used for
and players can cater
logging,
themselves
I think,
towards
or
one of those directions.
Flowers and stuff.
So, you know, with a broader appeal that the game design provides through having these multiple progression loops that are somewhat disparate in interest, some being PvP, some being PvE, some being crafting oriented, this all provides a matrix of decision making on behalf of the player that I think yields a compelling gameplay loop. And so that's why we're going to do it. Now, it's important to note, once again, this is alpha, which means that these concepts that live, you know, up here and get down into paper, then get down into
everything lives up in his head.
There is still an iteration phase that exists.
What a great man.
Implementation. And so when we get into Alpha 2 and when we test these things, we are going to fine tune them, and sometimes they might be completely changed. That's just the nature of an iterative process. And so we need to understand right now, while you're seeing this in action, it's going to be different when players are hands-on. And we'll be collecting all that information, all those logs. We'll be querying how players interface with these different systems. And we'll also be, very importantly, the next step, collecting feedback directly from the players
about these types of systems and whether or not they hit the mark and how they need to be fine-tuned in order to do so or wholesalely replaced.
So
So I
logging
would
is
say
3 slots,
as
right?
players are
1
participating
by
in Alpha
3.
2, get a feel
Uh-oh.
Did I lose you?
Steven, no!
systems and provide the feedback, and we'll see how. Did I lose you? Can you hear me?
You're good now. You froze for us for a moment. I was like,
My
oh
bad.
no.
My bad.
Where's our good? They probably have an
So
map
yeah,
message.
I don't know where I left off there, but that's
Basically,
Probably.
you're asking for feedback. Definitely share
Yes,
feedback.
exactly.
We actually have a forum thread already up, so please do so. I'll remind you guys at the end as well. But yeah, good. There
Cool.
were some kind of tangential questions in regards to what you were just talking about, specifically because people were wondering about crafting bags and different types of bags, and can like crafters create those bags?
Yes.
And you know, the obvious answer is obvious.
The obvious is
Yes,
very
yes,
obvious.
absolutely. That is a wholesale crafting area.
So
Yes.
the next one here is in regards to alt characters. How do we feel about people? Because we provided some details in regards to how
Wait, that was my
many,
question. That's what I
professions
said.
and processing classes and things of that sort that you can personally be on per character basis. What if I create alts that have those so that I can cover all of it? Is that something that we're okay with as a company, or
No, we should not be okay with it. No.
I think so. I mean, look, this is, this is entirely a subjective viewpoint, of course, but in my opinion, if the effort necessary to progress a character to the point where you have access to those types of things is parallel with the effort it takes for your main character to do those things, then that's a choice that you're making, and you're splitting your game time efforts towards two different characters, and presumably
No, he's wrong there.
balance point that gets provided.
I am not agreeing with that at all. It's not fine.
That, when we design the game,
respecting players' time
as well, and that's why we have certain
is an
restrictions on the
important thing. It doesn't matter what character you play; it's still your time you're using.
When we want to extend those restrictions out from a character,
I will fight Steven on this.
We do so, and we do so particularly with housing. That's an additional level of limitation that's going to mitigate some of the
I will fight
atmosphere for, let's say, owning
box him,
right? That is something that we place as a restriction because we feel that the limited reality space that exists within the world is something we don't want to extend to the alt atmosphere. And so in that situation, a player might have to, get another account or something, or do some obfuscation there. But from the perspective of progressing within the crafting professions and within the processing and gathering professions, that's acceptable in my opinion.
It's not. It shouldn't be acceptable. It's wrong.
And then the next one here is,
doesn't matter what character you play in. It's still your time you're gonna use. It's just the logging out and logging in. Like, I don't get why
being so stealthy.
it's okay.
Harvesting things and
They should
down
either
wood,
not allow it or just make your main character to do everything at max.
There has been some discussion about that in the past. We have not yet gotten
My
to
opinion.
the types of
Subjective
perception behaviors that we want NPCs
and
to
I'm
have.
the real
Right now,
motherfucking alpha.
Relatively rudimentary in their perception, although it is what players would come to expect in the majority of MMOs they've already played. But we're aiming a bit higher, and we haven't gotten to that work yet. But we are talking about things like unique abilities, excuse me, played by characters that extend the perception radius, or sounds and different types of walking that are angular from the mob's perception perspective to be unique. Different types of creatures that might be of three-dimensional in space, whether it is in water or birds in the sky that have a downward cone angle type perception as well. Like those, those are things we want to do, but we haven't yet spent the time on the AI.
Drink some water, Steven.
And then the next one here is in regards to artisan gear, and will it be a viable thing for me to utilize in combat? So if I'm crafting and someone asks me to help them with something, can I just leave my artisan gear on and go out and fight, or will I need to be swapping my armor?
So you will not need to swap your armor. Artisanship gear lives in alongside your adventuring gear, and there will be a toggle that you can use to display one or the other's visuals. Now that doesn't mean you need to swap the gears.
I will fight in a butchering outfit. That would be the alpha move.
You can. You're still going to have your adventuring gear present.
Fighting in a cooking gear.
And benefiting from the stats that are conferred by them. And vice versa for for the gathering gear or the artisanship gear, excuse me.
All right. Then the next one here is in regards to upgrading items. So if I create an item at a low quality, will I later be able to upgrade that item when I have the resources to do so?
Yeah, we want to be careful, so right now, as you saw on the stream,
important question.
The contribution of materials to crafting an item results in advancing the rarity of that item. Now, that doesn't exclude players who don't have the legendary or the higher quality contributed resources from progressing their common item up the rarity tree through enchantments such as scroll enchanting or through tempering the gear. Both of those can affect the quality and the rarity of the gear that you produce. But by contributing the resources during the crafting process, you are getting a head start with the higher quality item and now are less dependent on those other avenues to achieve that, which might be, again, a different vertical space of progression that you don't have as good of access to, right? So it's kind of distributing that approach.
Okay.
And then this is probably one I noticed a lot from more of our long-term fans who have been with us and on this journey for a really long time. They are curious about what happened to the more manual crafting side of crafting, because we didn't showcase that here. We showed mostly fast crafting.
Who's a long time?
A lot of people.
A lot of people. I thought you said there's one person.
Yeah, she's just saying stuff.
We have a long time person who's been asking. I was like, oh my God, who's that?
No.
Okay.
I meant generally, I noticed this question from people who are our
Yep.
fans for a long time, not
for sure.
Right.
people.
So that is still a work in progress.
Bring the cat back into the camera.
We want to be careful.
I'd be here all day if I
showcase...
listed all the names.
Yeah, no, fair.
Fake question.
We want to be careful that when we showcase certain systems,
I bought the game before you, Jake.
So in a way that's digestible, obviously, and allows for people to provide feedback.
I bought it first. I remember the day.
As we want them to.
You did it afterwards.
Gameplay layer is still a work in progress. And you will likely be getting an update on it at some point in the future when we're ready to showcase it, but it is still intended. The question that's outstanding with that mini game layer, or I don't really like calling it a mini game layer.
That's why I was calling it manual crafting.
I know.
Because it gets really confusing when you say mini games, because it is not mini games.
Agreed. It's not. It is a unique gameplay layer. However, what I would say is that there's still some discussion about whether or not that occurs on a craft by craft basis or if it occurs at the certification level, right? So when you're certifying up, you participate in the that gameplay layer. But what I would say is hold off on that for a moment. We're still working on that. We will give an update when we're ready.
Also, putting things into a core functional state allows us to test some of those core systems and features so that we can kick out all the bugs that are potentially there. And believe me, we've fixed a lot of them already. And there's plenty more that will come along the way as we move towards that more manual crafting process. And then the next one here is, will the skin of the weapons have slight changes depending on the rarity that it's crafted at?
Yes. Yeah. You saw there that the rarity of that sword was heroic, and when it was equipped, you saw some effects that were kind of pulsating up the weapon. Those types of effects will be yielded the higher quality and or rarity that the weapon is.
That's pretty cool.
So it's something that also is visually conveyed to other players, if not from just a threat assessment perspective, but from getting some data point on the equipment.
I feel like they need to tune down the explosion of the nodes after you
get scaled up when that happens.
mine them. It just kind of explodes too
move on
much.
to the next segment. Otherwise, we'll be here all day because Vagnar and Roshan keep adding them, which is awesome. The next one here is, can a player of any profession level learn any recipe? Or do I have to be like a certain level to learn the recipes?
Oh, that's a good question.
Mhm.
I know we've gone back and forth on that in the past. I believe that currently you might need to have the appropriate ability to craft the recipe in order to learn it. I believe that's the current approach, but
I
I
think
could
they
be wrong
will
on that. I'll
change
have
it.
to double check.
I mean, learning
And
the
obviously we
recipe
can
should not have
refine
any
these
restrictions, right?
as we test things, as
Crafting
you
it
guys
should have it.
experience things, as you provide your feedback.
You can
we
read a
adjust
book
things as
without
well.
being able
And then the
to
last one
make
here
that
is,
thing
can a player equip
because you're
multiple of the
noob,
same types
even
of
though
bags,
you're reading the
or
book.
are bags unique to
Yes.
characters in some way?
No, you can equip multiple of the same types of bags. You
All
can be
right.
highly
So you
specialized.
can read for your exams in Jake's
And I think
case,
there was
but
a
still
question
fail the
online here
exams,
was, can people put
right?
these
So you need to
crafted bags on their
level
meals
up,
as well?
but you can still read it and learn it,
Can
or
they put
somewhat
crafted?
learn
Sorry,
it.
my battery just said it's about to
Just
die. Sorry,
joking,
say
Jake.
again.
The
Say it one time.
crafted, can they put the crafted bags on their mules as well? Like the satchels on their bags?
No, no. The mules use the cargo system. So the cargo system is crate based. You have to acquire the crates, and then you can equip them to the vehicles and/or mules. Mules cap out at the small crate value, and you can add to that crate while in the wild.
All right. Well, from there, we're going to move on to our studio update. I don't know if you want to share some deets on how we're doing, where we're at in regards to studio goodness, but I know
Bigger
folks keep
doors.
asking about all of that jazz.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Things are going great at the studio. We have gotten some really talented team members who have joined us over the course of this last month that we're very excited about to have with the team. We are in the process of winding down for the year, obviously. The studio goes on break from the 22nd until January 3rd, and we have a lot of plans to get things done
January
before the
2nd, I
22nd.
think.
Oh, until the
We
2nd?
come
Sorry,
back the
my bad.
2nd, yeah.
Got it. Whoops, the studio's like, oh, we're getting an extra day.
Yeah, it's like, I just want to, because I know a lot of them watch the stream. I don't want them to be like, oh.
I know. Yeah, 22nd to the 2nd. Good call.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of plans, obviously, to get some things done here before the end of the year. We will be finishing up our milestone 7, which is a big, big, big milestone for us, obviously. But yeah, a lot of things going great at the studio right now.
Yeah, we're trying to plan some little fun things that we can do as a team too for December.
Team
We always
building,
try to
very
do-
important.
I think we always do like a Christmas sweater contest, and we have fun.
Yes.
We try to
I think we're gonna do I think we're
outside-
gonna do a movie as well. We've got some gifts
Yeah, I'm
going out
working.
to the team.
I'm working out the event details on that. So yeah,
Nice.
we're gonna prep some stuff. I know people who are our staff are probably like, ooh, but we'll announce that later internally. But yeah, we're
Or
definitely
maybe they're boo.
rocking and rolling. I think we talked about this in a previous live stream, but our attrition rate is insanely great. You know, people do come and go here and there, but it's crazy because like
It is
industry
kinda
standards
crazy.
like 12
I know.
plus %, and well, right now with
We're
layoffs,
at like
it's insane.
we're at like 1% or 2%.
Yeah, we're like 2%, I think. But yeah,
Yes.
so it's very, very low. Beyond that, let's move on to character goodness. So the first thing here that you're going to
Nice.
see is that we are starting to kind of change up our KLAR starting gear. We're kind of addressing those, changing them. You're going to see these for all of the races as we move forward. But feel free to share your feedback and thoughts on them. As
She has
we
bigger shoulders than the
continue.
guy.
Yeah, the fabric
Looking
looks
great.
so good. Yeah. Let those go through. Materials just look so good. Of course, lighting changes everything.
This
So
is
it
a
depends
bit
on like where you are in
too
game,
niche.
how the lighting is going to look on the armor.
Liking the materials in the
The
game.
next thing here is a copper weapon set. You're probably going to see these for every type of material. So I think you've seen some of them from previous materials too in the past. But you'll probably be seeing more of those as we move forward. Just a lot of weapons and stuff weapons and armors are being made. Tons of them.
A very rich, diverse grouping of itemization that can be progressed through
Going
the
crazy,
questing, drops, and crafting.
I don't really have
yeah.
a
Speaking of which, we
Ooh.
have some Carfin
Speaking
weapons.
of
We have a
which,
dagger and a
that
focus.
looks
that
like
we
the
worked
skin
on
I have
right
in
now.
New World on
I
my
think
sword.
we've shown some of the other Carfin weapons in the past as well that you've seen. But I like to sprinkle a little.
But it
in
looks
here.
cool though.
Because obviously that's going to be
This is a one-hander,
engine.
it looks like. Or a
And
dagger.
then we have the Scarlet Remembrance, the little ring that we had. The lore for this is really
Aw, very
sweet.
cool.
So if you haven't read it, I would highly recommend. And then we have the Fae Guards, which this one was of contention. Some people loved this set and some people didn't.
I do not love this set
but
at
now
all.
you're seeing the 3D render.
This
of it,
reminds me of
is,
a ugly night elf
different too, which
druid.
I think is fun. And then we've got the Bloomfest, which is from that same set.
Oh God, that must be a woman who made this skin.
Beautiful.
We don't love this.
And then
Who did this one?
This one, Bloomfest, was our wonderful intern, Marlene.
Marlene, exactly, a woman. I mean,
Marlene.
come on.
Get a shout out, Marlene.
Very cool.
It's very
and then we have
womany.
the mature drill spider. This isn't a T pose, so the
what the hell is that shaft at the back?
Would be up, not flat like that.
Looks like a toy.
We have the Rainrock Fawn.
That's
I think
cool.
I have a turntable for this one too.
Love it.
Yeah,
so cool.
This looks cool. I do like
Very
this.
cool. I could see us making a lot of different versions of this with the different materials in the game too.
Oh yeah, little corrupt version of it.
Yeah. Oh,
I like this.
Red.
This one
It's
is
simple.
one of my favorites. This is the shoal skipper.
Simple
we were
but
joking
cool.
that this is what we all look like after Thanksgiving dinner.
I can't wait to ride that thing in the ocean and just like lay down a bunch of mines for ships and stuff. That would be crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
Steven's plotting his revenge.
Just have like a squad of these.
Oh, that'd be so
water.
fun to see a squad of them. Oh my gosh. In Alpha 1, we all went in the water. We were all on those turtles, you remember? And then we did the barrel roll all in a row like a wave.
Yes,
remember
that was so good.
That was so fun. I think it was with
fun.
the PI folks when we did that. I don't know if the PI folks remember, but it was a lot of fun. That's what happens in private testing. You do weird things because we were having everybody line up and they were like, run to the shore because we were trying to test having a lot of people in one area.
I remember that. That was good times.
Yeah. And with that, we are heading on to our Q&A. So thank you to our amazing artists. Obviously, they work on way more things than that. But we just try to...
Yeah, exactly. They are having fun, not working. That's why we are not getting it within 2025. Because they roll around in turtles and
things that they're not
making
quite ready to share, but
private parties in game. Instead of working.
We do some stuff for you guys so that you get to experience them. So we're going to move on to our Q&A.
Hopefully we get it in 2025. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be 2025, to be honest.
Put these up in advance
I have doubts.
Live stream, so if you are following us on all the social, you'll be notified of that. And of course, on the forums. The first question here is from Nice Gaming. Thank you, Nice, for also making amazing content. We always love seeing that. They wanted about new player experience. And is there a plan to have a tutorial or quest detailing corruption, the flagging system, etc., as new players enter Vera?
What's the flagging system?
That is not something, however, you will be noticing in Alpha 2. We call this obviously our first-time user experience. The first-time user experience is something that's going to have a lot of love and attention during betas, but is not going to have much attention during Alpha 2. But it is intended for us to have a very in-depth first-time user experience to kind of introduce players to the number of different systems, right? Yeah. They're not going to be super in depth. We don't believe that first-time user experiences should handhold players through all of the processes and reveal the world, so to speak, but just to give them a shallow touch for these systems so that they understand the concepts and essentially how to navigate. But we want to leave
sometimes it can be overwhelming to have like a bunch of UI pop-ups. I think also we've been trying to take a more tangible process of like you're learning through the game and not always through windows popping up at you too. Yeah. The next question is from Narar, who wants to know about stolen glint. This was a contentious question after you talked about this on the Caravan live stream, so I think this is a great one to also clarify. So I'm glad it got picked in the random generator. The question is, will a character be able to loot their own corpse and retrieve their dropped glint as normal glint again, or is it forever stolen glint the second that the character dies? Does this also mean that if my friends loot my body and gives me my glint back, it's considered stolen? I think the problem here was that you die and then your glint becomes stolen glint, But then if you loot
Yeah,
it,
no,
it's
the
weird for
glint
it to be stolen.
the glint does not become stolen on death. It becomes stolen on looting. And
If as
if
long as
you're
it's not
able,
you, right?
correct, yeah. If you're able to loot your own body, it will not be converted into stolen glint. If, however, another player, regardless of their affiliation, loots the body, it will then be converted. The glint will be sunk, and the stolen glint will replace.
Your friends can steal stuff from you. It is true.
That's awesome, Jake. I will
And
steal
of
all
course,
your
the
shit.
next one is from Lashing, and they want to know about NPC levels. Will mob level keep scaling past player max level as an indicator for power level? I think this is more in regards to at high level, will there still be challenging combat for me beyond that?
Wait, so what's the question?
Yeah.
Will mob
Fuck
level keep
killers.
scaling past the max player level?
Yes, yes. When the game, both in Alpha 2
Backstabbers,
and
bunch
when
of
the game
backstabbers.
launches,
That's what they are.
there will be monsters whose technical level is above that of the cap. And the intent there is obviously, again, to provide some level of challenge that exceeds a comparable level challenge rating. Yes, that is expected.
All right. And then Neurotoxin wants to know about crafting agency. What percentage of an item's specifically like a weapon that hits corruption target or corrupted targets harder will be defined specifically by blueprint, material, character, skill, the station and region where it was crafted, and by the player's own selective inputs. So I think this is a pretty meaty question, but just I guess kind of breaking it up.
A meaty
Where
question
do the
indeed.
power elements come from
We love
percentage
meat.
wise per the different elements of crafting?
Well, a big chunk of it's going to come from the static recipe value, right? That's going to drive a lot of the stat block. And then, as we saw here, you will be able to influence the quality of the recipe and the distribution of stats within the stat block based on the
I would
components
like Margaret
that
if
are
she didn't
getting
have
you
a
to
cat.
craft.
But
So that
women
presents
that
a
own
wide variety of
cats,
potential output from a single recipe.
I tend to stay away
Recipes
from.
have the ability to gain recipes themselves can gain experience. You can unlock different results through different compositional contributions of
Yeah,
resources.
one is more
and
than plenty.
That in and of itself is kind of an exploration progression that crafters will have access to.
And our next one is about crafting innovation from Old Cat. Aww.
Cat?
And they want to know, will players have the ability to innovate
Old Cat.
within the
You saw how she
crafting
paused on the
system,
name
creating
Old
unique
Cat?
items or designs? If
Stay
so,
away
how
from her.
much customization can players expect when it comes to crafting their own gear or items?
Yeah, I think this is pretty much the same kind of answer that I just gave, which is that
Didn't you listen?
obviously there are statically defined an array of results that can come out of a particular recipe.
Wait, she's actually
and your
standing.
ability to unlock those results is
I
predicated
thought she was
on
sitting,
what composition
but
of
she's
resources you
standing.
contribute
That means
to
she's like
crafting that particular
super
weapon
small.
type. And so in that sense, yes, crafters will have
But the
the
Alpha
ability
Steven is sitting.
to
And look at the door.
uniquely
I think it just
create
expands. When
certain
he rises, it
types
just
of the
expands on
recipe's
all
results
directions. So
based
he
on
needs a
how they're
big door like
contributing
his
resources
entrance
to it.
door.
Yeah, I think this
to
question
pass
is
through.
more
However, they can't
specifically
just
about
manifest.
manifesting
I
their
was just going to
own
say,
recipe.
yeah, exactly. The result has to have a corresponding recipe definition, and so in that sense, it isn't completely customizable to the point where the player gets to uniquely create these particular items, but rather they are discovering what creations
What is
are
this over
possible
here?
with each recipe type.
Okay. And then I'm sorry
What's
if
happening
I
on
say your
the...
name wrong.
Is that a
Just
bed?
DM
I
me
guess
on
it's a
Discord or
kind of
something,
bed.
or
Something
forums,
happening
Let
there.
me know how to actually pronounce it. Moluxtos. They want to know about crafting recipes. Will the recipe book be account bound or player character bound? Will there be account wide sharing recipes? So can I share my recipes with my other characters, or do I have to do
Nice.
them per character?
Are you gonna move into a
This
new
brings us back
apartment, Jake?
to the
Yeah, the
alt
previous-
question.
For good or
And
like
the alt
temporary?
question was, how do we feel about people making alts in order to kind of corner the
I don't feel good
the
about this
mastering
alt thingy.
professions? Um,
I hope they change
If you
it.
learn a recipe, it stays on that character. And if you want another character to
That's
have
fine.
access to those recipes, they have to achieve those recipes in order to do so. And so in that sense, we're not making it easier for alts, right? It is an equitable amount of effort required in order to achieve the type of payoff you want from these alt characters.
So why not just make it
Alright.
into one character? It's the
And
same amount of
then
effort you
Roni
have to put in.
Scaponi,
Like
I
it's
always
the
love
same
them.
player, right?
They wanted about gathering
Same
skills.
time
Do
you have to
gatherers
use.
need to spec into group-based gathering at the expense of solo gathering?
Do they need to? No. No, I do not believe so.
So they can spec into, they can do both.
That's awesome, Jake.
Equally.
Congratulations.
Okay. And then Tiger Blue Eyes wants to know about crafting materials. Are crafting materials going cross tiers? For example, using high level material in low level recipes or low level materials in a higher level recipe? Is that allowed?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then Phantom X wants to know about crafting skill. As character artisanship skills improve, will RNG in the process go down?
That is a good question.
Yeah. As I level up, am I more likely to succeed?
To a degree. Well, right now we don't really have a failure chance when it comes to crafting. The RNG chances that we place on itemization live more within the enchant realm and within the deconstruction realm, and socketing. Like that's where RNG comes into play. The recipe is a relatively high degree of certainty when inputting things. You may not know what the outcome of that input's going to look like, but I wouldn't call that necessarily RNG for failure because you can't necessarily fail that.
You're mistaking my biceps with Steven's biceps, Jake.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any biceps.
And then Drunk Ninja wants to know about crafting consumables. Will every crafting profession be able to make some form of a consumable?
No. Not every crafting profession will be able to make a form of consumable.
All right. That wraps up our Q&A. Woo, we made it through.
Those were some light questions.
And of course, we do have, some reminders again for you all.
Was a yes or no
head
answer.
on over to our forums. We would love your feedback. Forums.ashesofcreation.com. We have a forum feedback thread already up there for Artisanship. So definitely let us know your thoughts, what you think you liked from it, what you'd like to see improved.
This was a long stream.
It was a long stream. Yeah, this is a long stream. The video for the 4K version of the Artisanship segment will be up on YouTube right when this is over. So you can go watch that, pause it, look back, so you can really give us feedback on what your thoughts are. And of course, our team is going to be creating a report for the dev team, which is always something that is beneficial for us. Again, thank you all so much for helping us with Extra Life. There's also
got the mic.
Other dev discussions and things of that sort over there. We're going to have a delicious one that's coming up with recipes, and maybe we'll do some bonus Alpha 2 keys for anybody who actually creates the recipe and sends us a photo or something. So it's like a bonus, just fun. But yeah, definitely keep your eye out for some fun things that are coming along the way. The Unseen Order Cosmetics will be ending on January 17th at 11 a.m. Pacific. Reminder that this is the last pre-order pack that will be available, and you can check out all the information on our FAQ on our site. And of course,
what kind of a URL? What kind of address is that? Discord
we
address.
Appreciate you sticking it through with us.
Doesn't work.
And of course, to Corey, Mike, Alex, and Nathan for helping us with the Artisanship showcase. They all did an amazing job. I know it is not.
Thank you very much. Okay, here's the thing. Overall, it's a W.
Can make fun of folks. So
its game has some great in-depth professions.
And we're just trying to help explain.
I just don't like two things. One being that you can just do alts or the alts. I don't get it. Why you have to do alts to make second professions?
Like I said, the bot will be.
They should either not allow it to mass create alts and get all professions to max at all, or they should just allow it so your one character can do it all. Because it's the same player, same person investing time, right? It's not like you become some other person when you are creating an alt. So I think they need to maybe think about it a bit more. I don't know. That's my opinion. Second, they should make the recipes just, you know, learn whenever, whatever level, not be restricted to your professional level. But you cannot obviously craft the recipes until you have the certain skill. And beside that, Margaret needs to talk a little bit less, even though she's the communications director.
We wrap up on the 22nd here.
But overall, AW Steven is alpha.
Hopefully not.
We could have a discussion about that two things that I mentioned whenever. Overall, W, we are hoping for a nice 2025 where we can actually play the game. Hoping for a beta on 2024. Hopefully at the end of 2024 we're gonna have a testing beta version, and in summer 2025 we're gonna be live. Hopefully, who knows?